I'm not here to condemn you.
I don't mind. I can handle it. Believe me, 8 years in prison. You think anything can hurt me now?
Is there any part of you that said, what the hell was I talking like that for?
Yeah.
I mean, I assume if you went back, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
And you knew the FBI is listening to you.
One of the advantages you get when you spend 8 years in prison like I did, you can catch up on your reading. And I was able to do a lot of reading. Read a lot of history books.
You read The Art of the Deal, I read.
I did. I read every book about Trump because, well, I have obvious reasons on why I love him.
I don't think I would have ever expected this interview was going to start and end with, oh, it's one of the greatest things God ever did for me. Sent me to prison. All right, who are we hanging out with today? The former congressman, former Illinois governor, Rod Blagojevich, two-time governor. Nice to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You forgot former inmate number 408-92424.
What was your number?
408-92424. I'm trying to forget it, but I can't get rid of it.
Okay, first of all, we're going to spend time on this. I love prison stories. Love them.
Okay.
You know, like Paul Manafort, I couldn't believe what they put him through.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. Yeah. And then and I'm going to let you talk, but I'm just going to set it up this way. I was shocked. He said to me, every day I listen to Rush, you, and Levin, and then they would put the TV on loud enough so I can hear your TV show. And he said, hearing you guys always talk about me gave me hope. I had no idea.
Right.
And they really put the screws to him. They put him in confinement.
Right.
And he was 1 hour a day outside, alone, no interaction. They were trying to break him.
That's right.
And he said, I would not lie. They wanted me to lie, and they would give him his freedom.
None of that surprises me. I've had a very hard and long experience myself with that system. Oh. It's a broken system, and in too many cases now what's happening, and Paul Manafort was a victim of that. I know I've been a victim of that, and President Trump's been a victim of that. And that's these weaponized, politicized prosecutors who are abusing their power. It's uncontrolled, their power, unlimited resources. And they're creating non-crimes for things that are routine and necessary in politics and government. If they want to get you, they do this. And we saw what they did to President Trump, which was unprecedented and unbelievable. I really believe they started it with me, a Democrat governor.
So is this the former Soviet Union? Show me the man, I'll show you the crime?
Absolutely. No question about it. And those tactics they used to press and squeeze Paul Manafort to say things about Trump that weren't true, those are Soviet-style KGB police state tactics in the United States of America.
And this is pretty amazing because they said to him, what is the most important thing you realized in your life that you took for granted if you're in jail? I would imagine your freedom, right? Every day they were offering him his freedom if he would tell them what they wanted to hear. Wow, that's corrupt.
It's very corrupt. And again, when you inject it into the political process, it's even more corrupt. This is the greatest constitutional crisis in American history since the Civil War. Our Constitution's at stake, our democracy at stake, freedom's at stake. One of the advantages you get when you spend 8 years in prison like I did, you can catch up on your reading. And I was able to do a lot of reading, read a lot of history books.
You read The Art of the Deal, I read.
I did. I read every book about Trump because, well, I have obvious reasons on why I love him. But no, I read a lot of history books too. And I believe it or not, I read Shakespeare. And I'm a product of the public schools in Chicago, which sucked even back then when I was there. Yeah. And I wasn't exactly setting the world on fire. When it was time to do Shakespeare, I never read it. But there I was in prison. I picked up Henry VI, Part 1, Part 2. There's this famous line, the first thing we do is let's kill all the lawyers. Now, what Shakespeare was talking about was if you want to take away the freedom of the people, get rid of the lawyers because they're the guardians of the rule of law. And it's the rule of law that preserves our freedoms. And now when you have uncontrolled, weaponized prosecutors with unlimited power who want to become political players, James Comey, Patrick Fitzgerald, the people involved with me and Trump, those people who are corrupt and dirty.
Patrick Fitzgerald was your guy, right?
That's right. Yeah.
I read about him. I read an expose on him that once he gets involved in a case, he won't take a day off, won't take a day vacation. Did you read that about him?
I didn't read it. I lived it. I didn't read it about him. But they began investigating me 5-6 years before they actually got me. It wasn't like I didn't know they were chasing me. I thought they were the good guys.
You knew you were being taped.
Absolutely. Well, I didn't know I was being taped, but I figured it was very likely I was being taped because by then, they'd been after me since December of 2003 when they arrested me on the 9th of December 2008. I was well aware that they were. All right,
you're jumping ahead.
Pushing. I'm sorry.
I want to build to this. I want to crescendo this. So you have humble roots, humble beginnings. You didn't grow up with a silver spoon in your mouth. And then you become, I guess, a councilman you were part of the state legislature. Then you were a congressman for 4 years. then two-time elected governor,
Right.
one of our biggest states.
Fifth biggest when I was elected. First Democrat in 26 years in Illinois. I apologize for that because the Democrats keep winning now. I think I started it, but it was a different Democratic Party. No, I've lived the American dream, Sean. I've been so blessed, as you have. And you know.
Agreed.
You know, we've had opportunities. We were able to take advantage of them. We've had good fortune. A lot of people have helped us. And, you know, I became, you know, the governor of Illinois. My father was an immigrant from Serbia who fought in World War II. He spent 4 years in a Nazi prisoner of war camp, my dad. Then the communists took over. He didn't want to go back to a communist country. He wanted freedom, came to America, didn't speak a word of English, didn't have a penny in his pocket. My mom was American born. Her parents were immigrants. You know, she couldn't finish high school. She had to go work during the Great Depression.
Right.
We grew up in a 5-room apartment, and I had, you know, nothing when it came to material things, but I had great parents, loving parents who sacrificed, scrimped, saved, sent me to college.
Then, and you went to good colleges. You went to Pepperdine, and before that, you went to the one in Illinois,
Northwestern.
Northwest. Both really good schools. Here's the thing that I find interesting, though, and I guess I have to go to it because this is the most interesting part of your story. But you're a governor, and then you end up in prison. All right, take us back. Let's go in chronological order.
Right.
The night that you get the knock on the door.
Right.
What was that like?
It was 6 o'clock in the morning on the morning of December 9th, 2008. It's a day that will, in my life, live in infamy. Day you'll never forget. I was the governor, I had security detail. I was going to get up and go jogging that morning in the cold. One of the psychological things that I do to be able to do that is I lay my running clothes out.
Right.
It was before iPhone, so there was phones. Sometimes I would get early morning phone calls because I'm the governor. There might be a tornado in the southern part of our state, whatever the case may be. The phone rang at 6 o'clock. I got up, answered the phone, and the guy on the phone says, "This is FBI agent so-and-so, and we're at your front door. We have a warrant for your arrest, and come down here quick so we don't break the door down." And I was still in a sleepy haze, and I said, "What? Who?" And he said the same thing. He repeated it, and I said, "Come on, Jimmy, stop around. It's 6 o'clock in the morning."
Right.
I thought it was my friend, State Senator Jimmy DeLeo, playing a practical joke on me.
Wow.
And then one of my security guys got on the phone and said, "No, Governor, this is real. They're really here." And then they came charging into the house. You know, put their running clothes on. Our little 5-year-old Annie Benanti was in bed with us. She would sometimes crawl into bed with my wife.
5-year-old kid.
Yeah. And our older daughter was in her bedroom. She was 12. And, you know, when that happened and you knew what was going on, it was very important for me to get out of the house fast before our little girls woke up and saw that their dad was being taken away in handcuffs. Now, Sean, I'm the governor of the 5th largest state. I'm the commander-in-chief of the National Guard. They had a 24-member SWAT team around my house. I was Roger Stone before Roger Stone. This was all shock and awe. This corrupt, and he's corrupt.
They have TV cameras outside? Did they tip off the media?
No, they didn't. That was kind of surprising to me. I think whatever they decided not to do that, but it didn't take long once I was in their custody for the media to find out, of course. And they started talking to me, and the whole thing started with Obama. It started on election night, November, the first Tuesday, November 2008, historic night. I was the first governor to endorse Obama for president. He wins. We're all there at Grant Park, 500,000 people. It was magical.
You were there that night.
I was there that night, and Obama sent an emissary to me to talk about a political deal for Valerie Jarrett.
Well, you talked to a lot of people. You talked to Rahm, you talked to Valerie,
right.
You talked to a bunch of people.
Yeah, they're all over the FBI tapes. Rahm's all over the FBI tapes. Pritzker's all over the FBI tapes.
Yeah.
Pritzker says racist things on those tapes.
Did he really?
Yeah, and I have a book coming out in August.
Those tapes haven't been released? Or the
no,
transcripts?
98% of the tapes have been covered up to this day. They're under seal, gag order. Think
Why
about
are they
that.
under seal? What's the point?
Because they're liars and they're corrupt. And if the truth came out, the facts would show that they were the criminals. They
How
framed an
racist
innocent
are
man.
the things J.B. Pritzker said?
J.B. Pritzker and I were talking about the Senate seat. He called me to ask me to appoint him to the United States Senate. If I was actually trying to sell a Senate seat, it'd be to that guy.
Yeah, he has a lot of money.
And he
Family
spent
has
something
a
like
lot of money.
$300 million to make himself governor twice. And the implication was, of course, that he would raise a lot of money for me. But an implication is legal. As long as he doesn't expressly say one for the other, nobody's breaking the law. But when I told him that I was interested in replacing Obama with somebody who was black, that I was looking ideally for maybe someone outside of politics, maybe a black military hero, somebody, we discussed some of the potential black candidates, and he said that the Secretary of State, Jesse White, this is on the tapes, is something to the effect of the least offensive of all of them. Now, imagine Trump saying something like that, which he would never say. But Pritzker said that because J.B. Pritzker...
Is this from memory? You just remember what he said?
I remember what he said, and I also know that it was released back in 2008 when I was still sheltering in place in prison because the FBI or someone, they were trying to hurt Pritzker politically. They broke the law and violated the court seal, gave it to the Chicago Tribune, and they played that tape publicly. Yeah. And he had to apologize and essentially give a lot of money to black ministers to get them behind him so he can weather the storm.
You made a rare public appearance not that long ago after Jesse Jackson passed away. You were there. Obama was there. Biden was there. The Clintons were there. They gave very political speeches. What did you think of that?
Very political speeches.
Were you friends with Jesse?
Very much so. I had a unique relationship with Reverend
I got along with him too.
Yeah, you and I might be the only two people in America who love both Jesse Jackson and
I don't love him. I mean, but I got along with him.
Well, I love him.
There's a difference.
Yeah, I knew him better than you did.
He did.
I went to Serbia with him in 1999 when I was a young congressman, and the bombs were falling. Clinton was bombing Serbia, the place my dad came from, right, supporting countries that were our enemies in both world wars and bombing an ally in both world wars, Serbia. Yeah. The same kind of thing is happening now in the Serbian portion of Bosnia. It's a whole other story. Sure. And so, because I spoke the language, because my father, that was my first language, Reverend Jackson, both from Chicago, we went there. Bombs were falling. Clinton wouldn't stop bombing them. We met with Milosevic at the time. He was the president of Serbia. Negotiated the release of our 3 soldiers and brought our boys home. Now, Jackson was a superstar in that.
He did. He actually did a good job in his life of negotiating the release of American hostages. He did do a lot. Yeah. I actually hung out with him. Remember the Terry Schiavo case here in Florida?
I do, yes.
Yeah. Right. All of a sudden, I'm in the room. He walks in and he goes, "Oh no!" Right. But he did come on my show that night, and we did actually agree on that issue. You know, I thought that was, if the parents want to take care of their daughter, why we get into this all this medical jargon? If the ex-husband believes she's not coming back and wants to tap out, I'm not going to fault him for that.
Right.
But if the parents want to take care of her, let them. I didn't like that part of it. He's fighting too hard, but different issue. All right, so walk us through this. So you get arrested. Now you're taken in.
Right.
Fingerprinted, mugshot, all that. Charged. Did they read the charges to you? Did you call in your lawyer right away?
Yeah, the lawyer, of course, the lawyer right away. I mean, before I even, answered the door back at like 6:05 in the morning, I got my governor's lawyer on the phone and told him to go call my lawyers. I had criminal lawyers by then. I'd been lawyered up for years because they were chasing me. So this was shocking, but not really a surprise. Because the quote...
Did they warn you this may happen one day?
No.
They did not.
Nobody thought anything like this could remotely happen.
Wow.
I believed I was on my way to vindication. The centerpiece of the problem was a guy by the name of Tony Resco. I think you might remember.
I remember that name. I forgot about.
He bought a lot for Obama. Obama bought a mansion in the Kenwood neighborhood of Chicago.
Right.
Hyde Park. And after he was elected to the Senate, he didn't have enough money for the adjoining lot, so he went to his friend Resco, who was a supporter of both of us. In fact, I met Obama through Resco back in 1995 when the two of us were up-and-coming Illinois politicians from Chicago.
How'd you like Obama? Did you get along with him?
He was all right. I mean, I did. I did a lot for him, as a matter of fact. And when I was governor, I was 2 years ahead of him.
Let me fast forward. Yeah. Since you got arrested and you were in jail, he ever reach out to you?
Absolutely not, and sold me out completely. And I write in my book about the deal I believe he made. I have every reason to believe the evidence is very strong. They interviewed him the day or two after. 13 pages of FBI interviews with Obama, all redacted. Can't get those released. Now, one of your associates, Mike Togan at Fox News, has been trying to get those released.
Can't you sue to get all this?
We tried. We have tried over the years. I wanted to play them in court. The court, if they played those in court, there would have been no convictions for the non-crimes they convicted me of.
Because look, what was made public in the indictment, that you and I got into.
Let's talk about it.
We're going to get to that. But because it's damning as hell.
Yeah. This is gold and I'm not giving it up for nothing?
Exactly.
Okay, what's the crime?
No, we're gonna hang on. We're gonna get to that. Yeah. I'm not here to condemn you.
I don't mind. I can handle it. Believe me. 8 years in prison. You think anything can hurt me now?
So okay. I'm not. I'm not one of the prison guys you're hanging out with. So all of a sudden, you go through this trial. You get convicted. 14 years. Then you did win a couple on appeal, but you still got the 14 years.
Let me explain that, Sean. They tried me twice. They failed to convict me on their fake corruption charges the first time around. Their case was so bullshit, we didn't even put a defense on. Yeah. Okay? My lawyer neglected to dispute their claim that I told them something misleading on an FBI interview about whether I tracked fundraising. Right. And so they hit me, they convicted me on a lying to the FBI. I didn't lie; they lied. But the other 23 counts, they were.
I want to know the strangest thing that I've ever been told in my life, because there were two guys. My 4 grandparents came from Ireland. They were immigrants.
Right. And
my grandfather on my mother's side's brother had 2 sons, and one just recently passed away, and they became FBI agents. In my family growing up, they were deity. If they came over, it was like, welcome, because they really made it. Because all my parents grew up really poor. And so that was the coolest thing about it. But here's the ironic part. I never thought I'd hear friends of mine in the FBI and my cousin who passed away, don't ever talk to them.
Right.
Here's the thing. I'm like, my natural gut instinct, you're with the FBI. Of course I respect you.
Right.
Because the lying issue, if you got something wrong accidentally, you're dead.
Perjury
You could
trap.
be dead.
Correct.
Perjury trap.
Listen, everything
That sucks, because I want to help. I naturally would want to help them.
Exactly. That's why I agreed to talk to him, even though the lawyers warned me. But I felt, geez, I'm the governor of Illinois. Of course I want to talk to them. If there's something that's not right, let's work together and sort it out and figure it out. If some people that are working for me are doing something wrong, help me. We want to do it the right way. We want to follow the law.
So you talked to them with your lawyers present or not?
With lawyers present. They didn't want to tape it 2 years before. And everything was perfect. I mean, not a single thing that I say that wasn't true. And it was a real small little issue. And basically, it's the FBI's word against mine, and most of the people on the jury, understandably, were like you and me. We thought they were the good guys.
Right.
You're going to believe a politician, you believe the FBI. And then my lawyer failed to address it. But once that little conviction happened, and all the other 23 didn't, they decided to try me a second time. And then they used that to tag my credibility.
So was it a hung jury on the first?
Hung jury on all the other stuff. We didn't even put a defense on. They changed jury instructions, They basically criminalized legal conversations and told the jury those things were crimes. They custom tailored the jury instructions. This is golden. They played my worst hits, right? Why don't they play what I said after that? If I say something like, I want $100 million in a Swiss bank account, yeah, you got me and I ought to go to jail for 20
No,
years.
it reads like shit.
Of course
I'm going to quote it to you in a minute.
Go ahead. Feel free.
No, we'll get to that. But I want to get to the fact, so your world is now turned upside down. Did you get out on bail, or?
You mean when I was arrested?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so I'm the sitting governor. I'm still going to be governor for another 6 weeks, unless I resign, which I won't do because I didn't break a law.
Right.
And so the magistrate was very kind. The judge was not. And she was really kind of sweet. And I think she felt, maybe she was a Democrat. I don't know. But she gave me an I bond.
She gave you what?
They call them I bonds, individual recognizance. She trusted me to come back to court on my own.
Oh, she did? Yeah. You ever think about leaving?
No.
You weren't going to do that.
No, how could you? I mean, I couldn't. I had a chance to do a television show, a reality show in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
At the time, I was so radioactive and,
They pulled the offer.
They did, and the NBC wanted me on, and they wanted me to go so bad that they offered to have U.S. Marshals. They would pay for the U.S. Marshals, and they still wouldn't allow it. And so, because I was so notorious and such a scoundrel in the minds of the market out there, the media, they asked for my wife Patty, and she did it, and she was great. The American people loved her, and she made it to the Final Four. And every time she'd stay on, we get paid more money. And back then, when that happens to you, Sean, you can't make a living. You're a leper.
Yeah.
And I think I'm the only guy in Chicago politics or Illinois politics who didn't get rich in the business. We had, mortgage payment on our home. Our daughters were in private schools, and we didn't have any income. She was fired from her job working for the homeless because of me.
I'm not trying to be nosy. Are you poor now?
No, I was making $62 a year in prison for 8 years.
So you saved a lot of money in prison. No, I'm kidding.
No.
Yeah.
My wife, Patty's heroic. She built up a little business on her own, raised our daughters on her own. They're great kids. Stayed with me to fight all the odds.
She stayed with you?
She did.
Not every woman would stay.
So I'm arrested Tuesday, and Thursday, Vegas is betting on my marriage. They were betting, Las Vegas odds makers were betting on my marriage, and it was 9-1 that the First Lady of Illinois was going to dump the governor of Illinois, right?
Should have bet on yourself.
I actually thought about it, crossed my mind, and maybe I'm admitting a crime, but I was afraid they would criminalize that
too. That'd be another crime.
I was worried they would criminalize that too.
Because you can make a deal with your wife. Oh, there's a conspiracy to make money off the betting markets.
That's right.
It's so weird now. You can bet on anything.
Right.
You can bet on a ball and a strike in a game. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
All right, so now you're guilty. Now you're sentenced.
Second trial, guilty. Yeah.
Second trial, guilty, sentenced, and 14 years.
Yeah.
This is what you're looking into.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a dark hole.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So
yeah.
walk us through that.
Okay, so the centerpiece of their case was I was trying to sell the ascendancy to Obama. Conversations he started. He wanted to make a deal. They criminalized those discussions about the deal. Eventually, the appellate court reversed those after I was in prison for 4.5 years. It was never a crime. I was right all the way. They upheld 3 fundraising requests where no money changed hands. There was never an express quid pro quo. You got to have the quid pro quo. Otherwise, it's First Amendment. They used fake instructions to criminalize legal things. That's what happened. I fought back every step of the way against the advice of my lawyers. Most of my lawyers thought you're crazy to do this. I felt I'm not a
Fought back in what way?
Publicly. I was calling them. I was on your show.
Yeah.
I was on your radio show with your partner, Alan Combs, and on your television show. I was all over. I was on David Letterman. Trump discovered me, I think, on David Letterman.
Letterman was tough on you, if I remember.
Yeah, none of you guys were, relatively easy on me, understandably so.
I think I was the toughest. we were kind of getting into it because I went back and looked at the transcript.
Yes.
And all right, so let me get to this because these were the quotes.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to get something, and if they don't offer anything of value, I'll just take it myself.
Right.
One quote.
Yep.
Quote another.
Right.
It's a valuable thing. You just don't give it away for nothing.
Correct.
Direct quote, right?
Yep.
I'm not going to give it away for nothing. You don't give it away for nothing. Let's see. You spoke to Rahm and Durbin, and there was other shit in there about the Chicago Tribune and money that was spent holding up fundraising money unless you got 50 grand from the Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
But those lines, okay.
Yeah.
They sound like shit.
Sure. Of course.
So you're going to tell me you're innocent of all of that. Legally, you're telling me that there's no crime there.
Right.
But you're saying of a Senate seat, this is a value.
Right.
I'm not giving this shit away from nothing.
Right.
How is that not a crime?
Well,
it sounds like you're selling it.
Of course. Play the rest of the tape and see what I say afterwards.
Tell me what you say, because they didn't release that part.
No, they're still covering those up because they want to take these things out of context.
Well, tell me.
Well, I'll explain it. First of all those conversations that what you just quoted were in reaction to and response to Obama's overture to make a political deal. And those discussions were all about, well, what can we get? In other words, what legal political deal can we make for this Senate
seat? Not what it reads. It doesn't read what legal political deal can we make.
But that's a given. Those are all those conversations. Go ahead.
I'm going to get something. If they don't offer anything, I'll take it myself. It's a valuable thing. You just don't give it away for nothing.
Right. When the president-elect...
So really walk through that. Because when you were on the TV show, you were ducking and weaving and ducking. I want you to convince me that I'm wrong.
Well, to begin with, everything you just quoted had to do with the centerpiece of the case, which was the alleged sale of a Senate seat, which the appellate court agreed with me was never a crime. They called it nothing more than routine political log rolling. All of those conversations, the deal, the art of the deal, the many things we love about President Trump is that he's a deal maker. That's how government works. We don't have the 13th Amendment to the Constitution and free the slaves if Lincoln doesn't make deals to make it happen.
You're basically saying that if you negotiate, and these are the people that came, which it's kind of like a who's list of people that showed up. Rahm Emanuel, Dick Durbin, Harry Reid, Menendez, Valerie Jarrett. Those are people that they reported that you spoke to about this issue.
Yeah, and several more. A lot more than that.
Okay.
We spent
so you're
6
talking
weeks
to them,
about it.
I want something of value.
Yeah.
Okay, if it's not a crime, it sounds like crap.
Yes.
And it sounds to an outsider as corruption.
Yep.
So explain why not. And I'm going to shut up and let you answer.
So I testified at the second trial on a promise by the judge that if I testify, I can play the tapes to corroborate my testimony. He lied, and after I got done testifying, they wouldn't allow those tapes to corroborate my testimony. He also promised that if I testify, I can testify to my good faith belief that everything we talked about doing, all those deals, were legal. I gave historical examples, and the best one was the one the appellate court would later use to vindicate me. It was the deal between then Governor of California, Earl Warren, in 1952, and Republican soon-to-be nominee for president, war hero General Dwight Eisenhower. The convention's in Chicago, 1952. Warren controls the California delegation where there's this young senator named Richard Nixon as part of that delegation. Warren didn't like Nixon. Nixon was going to be Ike's vice president, okay?
Right.
In order to bring the delegation to back Eisenhower, Warren wanted one thing. He wanted to make a deal with Eisenhower. In exchange for me delivering the California delegation, I want to be the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, not any old judge, not one of the other 8. I want to be top judge in all America.
That's how it became the Warren Court?
That's how it became the Warren Court. And they both made a deal, and they honored it. Ike wins in 1952. 1 year later, in 53, he makes Governor Warren the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court. I testified to that being among the many things that informed me that I could discuss, by the way, no deal was made, discuss making these deals. That's what they criminalized against me. The appellate court, to their credit, in some respect, vindicated me on that, using that example among others. Historical examples, political deals. Even at that time, at the convention in Denver, 2008, Hillary Clinton made a deal with Obama. You know what that was? He, in exchange for her getting out of the race, he was going to retire her $10 million campaign debt. Okay?
I believe I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, that's how politics works. That's what they criminalized in my case. Nowhere on those tapes does it say, this is gold and I'm not giving it up for nothing. I want $100 million in a Swiss bank account. That would have been criminal. If it was money for me, that would be criminal. If it's a cabinet position for me, that's Earl Warren. And we're just discussing ideas. That's all that was. And if it's, for example,
let me ask you in retrospect, because this is how they wrote it up. This is how they prosecuted you.
Yeah.
You know, now your life's on the line. You still end up with 14 years in prison. Right. I can't wait to get to the prison story, by the way.
I got a lot of them.
I bet. It's a place, losing your freedom, I would never want to be in, honestly.
Yeah.
I get it. What you're saying is probably, and the court backed you up, that it's technically true. But it still sounds like shit. It doesn't sound like the way it should go. Here's my question. You knew they were after you. You knew they were monitoring you. Right. Why would you ever talk like that? Right. No, thinking your phone's tapped. Right. I mean, if you ever probably you kicked yourself 100 times over it. Well,
I had 2,896 days in prison, and the first 3 years sitting in a little 6 foot by 8 foot prison cell, looking out the window through the bars to think about things like that. Right. How stupid could I be? But see, that was naivete. That was me believing those FBI guys like you and like me and like my parents were the good guys, that they'd understand. This is talk. There's no crime. And none of these things are crimes. Never in my wildest dreams could I think that they would then take snippets from 6 weeks of conversations and choose the ugliest ones and play them independent of context. And that they would then railroad me at trial both times, but especially the second trial, because they had to get me at all costs, because so much had been invested in getting me. Somebody's going down. They hijacked the governor, or I'm going to prison. And so the judge was compliant.
But usually in Chicago, you read the history of Chicago is the machine, right? The daily machine. Okay.
I came out of that. Is it
they didn't like you because you weren't part of the good old boy system?
Yeah, it's complicated. You know, I married a little ward boy. My wife, Patty.
She came from a more political family.
Her father was a Chicago alderman, city councilman, ward boss. You know, in the old Chicago machine, Rostenkowski, all those guys up in my neighborhood. I was sort of an insurgent candidate when I first got into politics, running against Rostenkowski's 12-year incumbent Democrat candidate. We're all Democratic primaries. The general election means nothing, you know. And I won and beat the machine. And then 10 years later, I'm the governor. But I married into the machine. And Papa has a lot of good qualities, my father-in-law. But once a guy like me, and I was relatively young, gets elected like that, all the ward bosses, Madigan was the boss, and he's now in prison. This guy had been like the Little Caesar of Illinois politics since 1983, got there in 1973, 72, the same year Biden went to Washington, Madigan got to Springfield. They controlled everything. Daley, I believe, was a great mayor, but Daley had expectations. I used to work for him when I was in the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, and he was way up on high, and I was at misdemeanor branch courts. Never even met him when he was my boss. Now suddenly, 10 years later, I'm the governor. But they all think I work for them. And I had ideas on what I wanted to do. And the last thing I wanted to do was raise taxes on the people. And I wouldn't do it.
You were a populist in many ways.
I was. We gave affordable health care to all the kids in Illinois without raising taxes. And it was a kind of free market approach to it. I gave free public transportation to seniors and disabled.
That became an issue, too, because what was it called, that system? You called it, I looked it up. And I think it was $8 million that you gave in funding for children's hospitals.
Yeah. But let's talk about that one. That one drives me nuts.
And then you said, I'm not doing it unless I get 50,000.
Yeah, that's such bullshit. That never happened. There's no evidence.
That never happened.
No way. Let me tell you exactly.
Then why did they charge you with that?
Because they're corrupt liars. Why did Letitia James charge Trump for non-crimes? Why did Jack Smith?
I watched it. I would be less inclined to believe you if I didn't live through all the
Correct.
shit that Trump went through.
Correct.
But I will tell you, the system is a mess.
Yeah.
It just is corrupt.
Right.
It needs to be cleaned up, inside out, upside down. All
Right.
That really does suck. So let's go back.
Can I jump in real quick? I
go
believe that our country's future is at stake on this issue. And President Trump's DOJ is already beginning to work on this. I'm working with Ed Martin, Weaponization Watch, great guy.
Yeah.
Okay? To try to find ways to find people who've been weaponized through the use of lawfare, using non-legal standards to convict legal things, to clean up that justice system and reform it so that Republicans don't do to Democrats what the Democrats did to Trump. And Democrats or Republicans don't do to, nobody does anything to people who are in politics for things that aren't crimes. Take politics out of the justice system.
You're out of office in 6 weeks. Why did they give a shit? Why didn't they just say, he's done, we're moving on? You were finished.
Well, I had 2 more years to go, but they had invested so much money and their careers are involved. These guys all go on to big law
Were they
firms.
afraid you were going to appoint yourself?
Which legally I could have done,
You could have.
Yeah. I was highly unlikely that I would ever do that. I was discussing the
Were they afraid of that? Did they want that seat bad enough?
No, what they were afraid of and what they stopped was I was about to appoint the Illinois Attorney General, my political enemy's daughter, and that was Madigan, the boss who I was fighting. I fought the establishment there. They swallowed me up. The deep state in Illinois swallowed me up because I wouldn't play ball. I was willing to make a deal, hold my nose, and make her the senator. This is all on the FBI tapes, and it's about to happen the very next day that I was arrested. And released the tape from the night before, and you'll see it was going to happen. Rahm Emanuel agreed to be the go-between because I couldn't trust Madigan. I'm going to hold my nose and make his daughter the senator in exchange for health care, affordable health care, a private sector way to do it, for the remaining 1.2 million Illinoisans who didn't have it, a big public works bill, which FDR would have been proud of.
It wasn't anything that would benefit you.
Nothing that would have benefited me. We talked about cabinet positions.
That's just
and all
a
the
political
rest.
deal. That's the way.
Exactly. It would have been great for the people of Illinois. And he arrests me the next morning and says he was stopping a crime spree before it happened. That liar Fitzgerald. That guy's a criminal. Okay? Play the tapes from the weekend before and the night before and see who's lying here.
All right, I tried Riverbend Ranch beef at Christmas. They're Angus steaks. They are incredible, delicious, juicy, and they're marbling of these steaks. For example, I got a new box right here. I'm so grateful. I will be grilling this tonight. This is their ribeye. Now, there is a reason their steaks are so superior to other beef in the marketplace. For the past 35 years, Riverbend Ranch, they have been scouring the country. They use ultrasound technology, imagine this, to identify genetically superior Angus cattle with a focus on flavor and tenderness, and they use only the top 1 or 2% of the entire Angus population as their breeding stock, producing beef that has much more flavor, much more tender than your average Angus beef. For example, the New York strip. I love New York strip. You have it right there. They have this Denver steak. You know what? I just tried it. I'm like, I love it. It's amazing. Now, that is saying a lot because Angus beef, famous for its flavor, its tenderness. This is the best. Riverbend Ranch has taken Angus beef to an entirely new level. These are the best steaks you are ever going to eat. And each steak aged to perfection, 21 days. And by the way, I love supporting American ranchers. All Riverbend Ranch cattle, born and raised right here in the USA, never use growth hormones, no antibiotics, and the beef is processed right at the ranch in their award-winning USDA-inspected processing facility, so you avoid all the costly middlemen because the beef is sent directly from Riverbend Ranch right to your home. You can order their beef. Go to riverbendranch.com, riverbendranch.com, and I'm telling you, they have the most spectacular steak bundles, makes great gifts for friends, family, people in your business that you work with. Order today, riverbendranch.com. Now, if you use the promo code Hannity, here's my ribeye. I'm going to try the ribeye tonight. Okay, here's the ribeye. If you use the promo code Hannity, you get $15 off your first order. And you're going to love the taste. You're going to love their beef. And you, like me, will be a customer for life.
Go ahead.
I'm 100% on.
Help me get those tapes.
I'm 100% in your corner.
Okay.
I think it's not fair that they lock these tapes up. There's no justifiable reason that those
unless
tapes
you're
don't.
lying and you framed an innocent man.
Okay, so
That's no different
but
from,
those they didn't destroy the tapes yet. You know for a
I
fact.
have them. I've had them.
You have those tapes.
Yeah, I've had them since.
What would happen if you released them?
I'd break the law
Because
they have a gag order on it. It's under seal.
I would just keep going back to court. Why not take it to the Supreme Court?
How do you get there? I mean, right.
Get a good lawyer. Get somebody that believes in freedom of speech. I actually think this could be a moment really to educate people. Like, for example, I spent a lot of years doing Russia.
Yeah, right.
I was proven right.
Right.
3 years of coverage on radio and TV. You know, there's a lot of issues I learned to be right on and where everybody else was wrong because I don't rush to judgment. No doubt, you know, and maybe I was unfair to you when you were on TV in the sense that I was reading the indictment. Yeah. Those statements you even acknowledge are damning.
Right.
And what I tried to do when I read the transcript, and you messed up on, I'll blame you for this part, is kept saying, I'm giving you the ball.
Yeah.
Answer the question. And you kept ducking and dodging and weaving. Oh, I can't talk about an upcoming case and all that bullshit.
That's exactly right. Good memory.
Yeah,
I was doing all of that. My lawyers were telling me, be very, very careful what you say. And at that point, we didn't have all the tapes. And so I didn't know enough about what I could say. Now, I legally can independently tell you what I remember's on those tapes. But at that time, it was early on when I was on your show.
Have you ever gone back to listen to them now that you have a copy of them?
I've had them since 2009.
Oh,
right?
shit.
I'm writing a book. It's coming out in August.
And so you used, can you print the transcripts?
No, unless I get approval. Now,
who do you? You got to go back to court.
If Pam Bondi's listening or Cash Patel, help me release those tapes. At least the ones leading up to the arrest.
How can Pam Bondi or Cash help you?
Well, that's the DOJ. They can take away the objection that that the Department of Justice has had.
Wait a minute. You're saying that Pam Bondi can lift that injunction?
I think she's great, by the way. I don't want to put her in a bad spot.
Yeah.
But no, if the U.S. Attorney's Office joins my lawyers and agrees to release all the tapes, or at least release the tapes leading up to my arrest to show how
Who's going to be first in line to kill you if they get released?
There'll be probably a few people. Yeah. And, and also...
I'm not joking about that.
Play Obama's 302s. Unredact the 13 pages of Obama's 302s. The guy was the President of the United States. The American people have a right to know what he said and what he talked about the day after they arrested him, because he started the whole thing.
What did he say?
I don't know. They blocked it all out.
Oh, so you don't know what's in there.
Right,
you didn't see the 302s, the FBI 302s.
I have them. It's all blocked out.
You haven't blocked out, so you haven't seen them.
No.
I agree with you. I'd like to see those too. It does give a whole different perspective, honestly, because I do remember that when you were on, and I was, you were frustrating me because I kept saying, this sounds like crap. Here, answer.
That's right.
I was giving you all the runway you needed. And you wouldn't answer. And then I was getting frustrated.
Yeah.
You know, as an interviewer, you just you have a limited time. Come on, answer the question. And I didn't think you looked good by ducking and dodging, especially when I was trying to just give you the ball and run.
Yep.
All right.
No, you were very fair to me. And you were right to be skeptical. Who shouldn't be?
It
you got a governor on saying, this is told him not giving it up for nothing. One of the conversations, I'm calling Obama. Can you say this on your show, by the way?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. It's a podcast.
Rated R, right?
Yeah, it's rated R. Yes, sir.
By the way, my book's called Frank and Free. That's rated R, too. There's a lot of the F word and the MF word in there because of the prison.
All right, we gotta get into some other stuff. So your life is turned upside down. But by the way, I don't wish this on anybody. I learned something after I interviewed Paul Manafort. And he told me that he'd listen to my show every day. He was in prison. I guess he had headphones, whatever. He'd walk around the track, he said. And he'd listen to Rush, he'd listen to me, he'd listen to Mark, he'd listen to my TV show.
Yeah.
And we talked about him a lot.
Yeah.
And that gave him hope that he wasn't forgotten.
They call that hope time in prison. It's hope time.
Okay, and so the other thing he said, and I want to get your perspective on this that really stood out to me, is the prisoners loved him because they liked Trump.
Yep.
Prisoners loved him because he wasn't a rat. They knew he could walk out any day he wanted. They liked him because they viewed that as being a stand-up guy. They have their own code, right? And the other big rule is don't hurt children. If you're in there and you hurt a kid, you're in deep shit. All right.
Be sure you ask me about that because I got a lot of
I'm about to ask you. We're going to walk into prison.
Sure.
Okay. You now sentenced. You go in first day. You didn't go to a camp right away.
No.
You went to...
I went to a higher prison. I went behind with the inmates called...
Was it medium or...
Yeah, medium low, same thing.
Yeah.
I went behind with the inmates called a razor wire.
Yeah.
And I was in prison. They put me in prison. The only governor who's ever been in a place like that. And by the way, I never took a penny. No one even says that. I mean, gold. I'm not giving up. And he asked, but no one says I even took 1 cent. I didn't even take one fundraising dollar. Nothing happened. It was conversations. They criminalized. So anyway, I walk into prison on live television.
Yeah.
Right? I'll always remember this. Of course, I write in detail about it in my book. It's the 15th of March, 2012. And live television's filming me, and I'm going to go into this prison with 950 guys, and guys who are Crips and Bloods, gangster disciples, Sinaloa cartel drug dealers.
You were murderers, rapists,
yeah,
gang members, all
of that. Guys who look up to El Chapo, the drug lord, like my daughters look up to Taylor Swift. Men who committed murder, bank robbers who I learned were actually very lovable type guys. 450 pedophiles and sex offenders, shocking out of 900-something people that were there. 2% white collar. Jeff Skilling was one of them, and one governor, me.
You're the former governor.
Yeah.
I mean, did they put you in isolation?
No. I went from a 50,000 square foot governor's mansion, which I had access to as the governor, to a 6 foot by 8 foot prison cell. It's real prison like in the movies. That's
so you have your own cell, you don't have a cellmate?
I have a cellmate. I'm on the top bunk, the other guy's on the bottom bunk.
What was his name?
Well, I had several of them because I was there so long. They come and go.
That's true. They come and go.
Right. A lot of these guys became my friends and still are. But when I walked in, it's interesting what Manafort told you is absolutely right. People ask me, well, what was it like? You know, you were the governor and you're in prison with guys like that. They greeted me with great warmth and affection. 2 reasons. Number one, I was a celebrity inmate. They just saw me on television, walking into prison live. Now suddenly I step into their world. None of us can get out, and I'm with them. But more importantly, far more importantly, I had in the vernacular of the prison the 14 piece, which meant I didn't snitch on anybody, and the mantra there is snitches are bitches who get stitches. And among the black guys, I was especially popular because in their world they figured I didn't snitch on Obama because Obama was caught up. He started the whole thing with me, and they knew enough about that. And they felt like I wouldn't snitch on their black president. This guy's got to be all right. And so when I got in there, I was actually given a welcoming basket from these guys who had nothing.
Seriously?
They went to the commissary, gathered up, took some collections, and gave me a little bag, a fishnet bag, stocking bag with toothbrush, toothpaste. One of the guys said to me, very touching, said, writing paper and a pen, governor, in case you want to do some writing. It was very respectful.
Did they call you governor?
They called me Gov, throughout those 8 years.
The whole time?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But this guy in particular was sheepish in the beginning.
What are you feeling inside?
Oh, Sean,
Scared shit?
Not at all. I'm not scared in the least bit. No, I grew up in a rough and tough neighborhood, so that never bothered me. And I got to tell you, I mean, I was so beaten down. My heart was so broken, yearning for my children, my babies. I left behind my wife. I got 14 years of this. You know, if somebody wanted to kill me, do me a favor. So the first night, and I write about this, and I think you might appreciate this, the realization really hit me about where I was and what I was facing. And it was, you don't know how it goes until you start to live it, right? So that very first night, suddenly at 10 o'clock, you hear this loud slamming sound and the iron gates are shutting. And then suddenly you're swallowed up in darkness. All the lights go out. And then the realization hit me. I almost had a mini panic attack like, holy shit, I'm really in here. I can't get out of this place. And I got 14 years of this.
6 by 8. Who was your first cellmate? You remember?
Was a guy by the name of, well, I hate to, I'll change his name, yeah.
Don't worry about it.
But
he was a good guy. He was not a bad guy.
He was a good guy. He was they put me in with a real estate developer from Beverly Hills.
White collar.
Yeah, but they were only 2% white collar. The other guys were drug dealers and gangbangers who I lived with. And
were
most
they careful who they put in with you?
Yes, they were.
They were careful.
But I didn't need it. I was all good.
So let's just big picture.
Yeah.
All the time you're in prison, 8 years, never got in a fight?
I mean, you had some disagreements. You want the window open, the other guy wants it closed. Some people just don't like you. They push you around.
I mean,
bullies.
You have to, hit.
I came close a couple of times. But you can't do that. I broke up several fights. Yeah, in my book, I start a chapter. Obama got a Nobel Peace Prize for doing nothing. I should have got at least 8 for the fights I broke up in the 8 years I did in prison. But let me go back to that first night, because I think this is important for your viewers and your listeners. I consider myself relatively tough. I consider myself a guy who has testicular virility. I believe that, because I would never give in to those and say what they wanted me to say and take 18 months, because I didn't.
They offered you 18?
Yeah, after the first trial. They were dangling 18 months.
Oof.
Anyway, I didn't do it. I'm not a businessman. I'm not cutting my losses. I'm the governor of Illinois, elected by the people. I swore an oath on the Bible to preserve and protect the Constitution, the rule of law. I'm not doing it. But there I am. And now I face that reality. They don't let you bring anything into prison except for a Bible. And my wife gave me this Bible, which is what my most cherished possession to this day now. It's all beat up because of 8 years. I'm reading it every day. And I was so alone and afraid that not afraid that I'd get hurt, but afraid that maybe I'll never come home. And who's protecting my little girls? My little Annie Benani,
what were they?
when I left home, was 8. And my daughter Amy was 15. And Patty, you know, and everybody knew
Not
where our
a good
house
age
was.
to be away. No age is a good age.
Right,
you know?
right. And, you know, it was highly publicized, and we had media all around our house all the time. And we live in a regular neighborhood in Chicago, and everybody knows
where
where
we bored after a while and move on.
Pardon me?
They get bored after a while and move on.
Oh yeah. Once I was gone, they lost interest, and then once I came back, they were there.
All right, so
But the Bible, Sean, is what I want to say. I couldn't have got through it without God. It was faith, hope, and love that brought me home.
What was your religious belief before you went in?
I was raised Serbian Orthodox Christian, Eastern Orthodox faith. Always believed in God and prayer, but never really understood or knew Him like I grew to know Him in
Now
those 8
you're on
years
your
in
knees.
prison.
This is humbling.
No question about it. And one of the many verses throughout Scripture is Genesis chapter 50, the story of Joseph, 38 to 50. The last thing he says when his brothers who had sold him into slavery and he went to prison for something he didn't do, father dies and they're afraid. Little brother, who's now in a great place because God favored him with his talent of being able to interpret dreams, he came to the position of like prime minister of Egypt. And they were fearful, and the brother Joseph says, what you meant for evil, God meant for good. I really believe that's my story. I believe I'll play a role in criminal justice reform. Mm-hmm. I believe I'll play a role in helping Ed Martin do what he's doing on Weaponization Watch, because I don't think anybody's lived it like I have. Nobody has been persecuted for political stuff in American history more than Trump, and I argue me. And if I'm right that I'm innocent, and I know I am, I argue me, President Trump and me.
Let's go back. That first night, the walls are closing in tight on you. You say you're close to a panic attack. Okay. Nighttime, morning comes, first day. What was that like?
Said a prayer to God that night. You know, a great poem. Go out into the darkness and put your hand into the hand of God. That shall be to you better than light and safer than a known way. That's all I had left, you know. And my
kids. It's a great book by Taylor Caldwell, and the dark. It's called Bright Flows the River. And the dark night of the soul, bright flows the river of God. It's when we're most humble, I think, that we're closest to God.
You just spoke to me about my experience that night, what you just said.
That was it.
Oh, no doubt.
Dark night. That has to be like the low point, the dark night.
Yeah.
Okay, morning comes.
Morning comes, you know, everybody's scurrying around, and we go to the cafeteria for breakfast first time, you know.
You're in the mess hall?
Yeah, it was my first job eventually. I would work in the kitchen, that first job
That's the best job to have in prison.
If you want to steal food and have a little hustle on their yard, yes, but I was not interested in any of that.
You weren't going to do it.
No, but I did my time, my tour duty in the kitchen, and
how was the food?
Sucked. J.B. Pritzker can use some prison time to help. Governor Pritzker can use a little of that to help him instead of the Ozempic he refused to admit he's on.
He needs to be, I think. I don't know.
No, he's losing weight now. He's half the man he used to be, but he claims he's walking 5 miles a day. I've known this guy for a long time. Totally full of shit. It's Ozempic. He won't admit it.
I mean,
he should do ads for Ozempic. It works.
Might as well get paid for taking the shot. So the first day, now you're really getting to get the lay of the land. You're meeting the other people there. I mean, are they coming up to you?
Oh, yeah.
Are you walking? They are.
Oh, yeah.
Right away.
Yeah. In fact, I'll tell you. So in the book, I write this too. I wasn't in prison 27 hours. I broke my first prison rule. It's 3 o'clock the following, my first day that I wake up there. That's when they bring you in. Your movements are restricted in that higher prison, and they lock you in at 3, and at 4 o'clock they'll count you. This is every day. Every day it happens like this. And so we're in till dinner time. And all of a sudden, 900, it's a big prison, 900 guys in there, different housing units, and the prison loudspeaker. By the way, there's armed guards around the prison yard. And if you run or walk near that yard, they have the discretion to shoot you. That's the prison I was in. Yeah. I didn't go near that fence. But loudspeaker blares and says, Inmate Blagojevich, report to the lieutenant's office. Okay? So, all my colleagues in there, in the housing unit I'm in, they're like, whoa, because that means if you're getting called by the lieutenant, you did something really wrong, they're going to probably put you in solitary confinement. I'm not even there 27 hours. I'm getting called.
You already screwed up. What'd you do?
Supposedly. And some black guy crossed the way says just that. He says, man, that gov, he's a gangster. Ain't been here but 24 hours. He's already with the cops. That's right. So anyway, I ended up going to the lieutenant, and what I did was the night before, my first night on that yard, I saw the prison yard. I wanted to see the workout facilities because, I'm going to try to keep myself busy working out, exercise, run, read, and try to grow.
But there's even like a code there. They control who controls
Absolutely.
the yard.
Yeah.
This spot, this spot,
Right.
this spot.
When I would watch you on television, it was the white TV because the TVs are segregated.
With the what?
The white TV. That's where the white guys watch TV. They put Fox News
Was
on.
everything based on race?
A lot of it is, yeah, and I'll tell you the story. The black guys watch CNN, and the Latinos watch Univision, and the sports TV, everybody, but that's where the fights happen. But back to the first day, in the lieutenant's office, it was about race. And what they said to me was, we were told that last night you were on the prison yard and you were walking with a couple of black guys on the yard. Is that true? And I said, yes. And they said, you don't seem to know. You don't know how the rules are here or how we operate, is what they basically said. And I'd walked the track with a guy outside of Chicago. His name was Slim. Drug dealer, got a 17-year sentence from Englewood neighborhood. I was his governor. Another black guy, great guy by the name of Walter Hill from East St. Louis, Illinois. And I was their governor. And so they were enthusiastically embracing me, trying to be nice and kind to me. And we were walking the track, and they were showing me around the weight room and all the facilities. And I'm walking around with a hole in my heart.
That's what you're in trouble for?
Can't walk.
So segregation exists in prison.
They wanted to let me know that, I needed to hang around with my own group, my own kind. And they
How
call
about your
them
own
cars.
humankind? What's wrong with that?
I know. And so they sent me to these two Aryan Nation racist guys.
Are you serious?
I swear. Yeah. They sent me to go see them.
No, thanks.
Well, and I said to them, look, I'll be respectful because you want me to go see him, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not, unless you're ordering me, tell me I can't be with people of another race, I'm not doing it. And they said, it's not a written rule, it's just how we maintain order. And they argued there was legitimacy to some of the rationale, and that is that you're with criminals, and a lot of these guys are violent. And we want to keep order and peace, and we don't want fights. And what keeps the peace is sort of like international politics too. It's checks and balances, and powers and alliances, and preventing violence from saying that if somebody gets into a fight, others will jump in. And if it's a racial thing, the two sides will fight. So there's an interest in what they call the shot callers. Those are the gang leaders, to make peace and negotiate some sort of resolution before two guys fight.
So
they said, you won't have anybody covering your back because you're with the black guys. The white guys will leave you because you're disrespecting them.
What did you do moving forward?
I was nice to everybody and anybody I hung around with. Everybody and anybody was good to me.
So you kind of just were an exception.
Absolutely. I had a certain status.
By the way, I hate to hear that.
Uh-huh.
Because I find racism repugnant. And, here are people being nice to you and embracing you and breaking that rule, whatever that unwritten rule is. And they're telling you, no, you're not allowed to follow. You're not allowed to go along with it. You
shouldn't. They didn't order me. You shouldn't. And they told me you can't be an advocate for civil rights in here. You're going to cause us problems. We would appreciate you don't do that. Mm-hmm. So they segregate the cafeteria. So all the white guys sit with the white guys, the black guys with the black guys, the Latinos with the Latinos.
Did you keep switching where you sat?
Eventually, an old black inmate from Chicago who looks like Morgan Freeman, he did 25 years. He was on the last year of his time. I would stay up late at night with him in the dark of the prison. We would talk about stuff. He was very good to me.
Did he become a dear friend?
Yeah, he did. Mr. B was his name. And he was like
what was he in for?
Heroin.
What?
He was a heroin dealer.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he was a heroin dealer. But he got hooked on heroin, and then he needed to fund his addiction.
How much drugs are in prison?
More than you would like to think, even in a prison that's protected like that.
You can get any drug you want.
I can't say that. No, I don't know that. I was never interested in that.
All right. Did you smell weed a lot?
Not a lot, but you'd see it once
was there.
in a while. Yeah.
Were people able to get heroin?
No, I never saw that. I never saw that.
What were the drugs that were available?
I never did drugs.
Did they ever make their own hooch?
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Did you ever have any?
Nope.
Never tried it?
No, sir.
You said you didn't drink.
No, I haven't had anything to drink for 8 years during prison. You're not even a glass of wine because you can't. I didn't take hooch. Look, I was a well-behaved inmate.
Listen, I've watched enough prison shows to look at that shit, and I'm like, I'm not touching that either. Yeah. It kind of sucks. It's sad to me that here you have people in the same circumstances, and they just are breaking down along racial lines. I hate to hear that. I know I've heard it before. It's not the first time. You know, one thing that Paul Manafort said is that everybody was nice to him. Everybody. And they do have factions that, break off. Then you have white nationalist, racist, Aryan, bigots. I can't stand these people. They're ignorant. I would never want to have to be associated with them in any way or aligned with them in any way. And, whoever the person is that you get along with, that you connect with, that you're nice to. All right, so you now are there, you're beginning to get into a routine?
Yes.
And how quickly
critical.
did you get into that routine? And what was the routine?
Yeah. So I get my first job, and I'm in the kitchen, and they wake you up. You got to get up at like 4 a.m. for most of the guys now. The guy that ran the kitchen was actually a correctional officer. He was the boss from Chicago. And his mother, black guy, his mother was a big fan of mine. And so the other cops decided to put me on my first job, to really stick me with the worst job, and that's washing pots and pans. And he felt that was not right and pulled me out of there and gave me the job in the kitchen warehouse that required hard work. And you got to lift up these like 100-pound bags of rice and potatoes and stuff like that. And all the other guys pretty much were a lot younger than me, but I was good. And he would feed you good. And
that's actually good. You're getting a workout.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah. It was very good. But you got to work like 8 hours there.
Yeah.
Eventually, once I got out of there, I was able to be a teacher and teach history.
Go through the. I'm interrupting you, but go through a menu. What do you eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? What do you eat in prison?
Well, the first dinner, it was that first night.
Yeah.
Okay, it was March 15th, 2012. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the whole prison sees me for the first time, and I'm wearing these like little slipper things and these like temporary uniforms that look like pajamas, and it was like a clown costume actually. They just saw me on TV a few hours ago. Now I'm there. I walk into this place. It's like 900 guys. They all turn their heads. There I am. Right. We're lining up with the capture to take my tray, and the dinner was, and you got cops all over. And you're only limited to one serving unless you can make a deal with somebody else and buy their trade for stamps and stuff like that.
Right.
And so the first dinner was a kind of scrambled eggs that were kind of green, like biscuits and gravy that looked more like someone had thrown up than it was properly cooked. And ready for this, canned cranberries, like the cranberry sauce you have for Thanksgiving. So you have that. And so
that probably was the best thing on the menu.
It's the only thing I ate. I tried the eggs. So that was the only thing I ended up eating. But I was so down, broken-hearted, man. I wasn't hungry for anything. Yeah.
Well, when you got into the routine, what was like a good breakfast? What was an average lunch, an average dinner? It was all shit.
Yeah, none of it was really any good. None of it was any good.
I heard they mostly pound you full of carbs and no protein. And is that true?
Well, they have protein. They have the requirements that they have to meet. So you get beans and stuff like that for your protein. There'd be meat for protein.
How about eggs in the morning or no?
Yeah, you could have eggs, but not good eggs. I mean, look, the inmates are making the meals.
How can you screw up an egg?
Sharky, who was an inmate,
Yeah.
His girlfriend the night before on the limited phone calls we get told him she was breaking up. So the next morning, this is early on in my stay, right? I'm lined up. I'm actually working there. And the guy, but for whatever reason, I was in the cafeteria line, and this guy Smelly was a drug dealer from the Denver area, a good guy, broke the law, but not a
drug addict. A good
Smelly.
Yeah.
Smelly says, "Man, that's cold." And then all of a sudden, the word was, "We can't have oatmeal," because Sharky was pissed off that he literally urinated in the vat of oatmeal because the girlfriend dumped him the night before, so they were serving cold cereal. So you'd have experiences like this from time to time, and you'd realize that you're in a world with a lot of guys who hadn't grown up emotionally. They were kids. They were 50-year-old men who were kids.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Like lunch, what'd you get? Like a piece of bologna and white bread, or what?
Yeah, you get that. It'd be better than that. You get, once a week you get like chicken.
Oh.
Yeah, but wasn't that great? Once a week you get the hamburger, but only one serving, and this was small again, made by the inmates. There'd be like a pasta one day.
More than eating Chicago hot dogs or Chicago pizza.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Now,
did you crave it? I bet you did.
Yeah. As time would go by, I would once in a while indulge myself and think about something I'd like to eat. In the early years, and I'm telling you, I was walking around with a hole in my heart. I was strong because I love my family, faith, hope, and love. I'm not giving in. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be effective here. I'm going to be constructive. And someday, somehow, God's pulling me out of here, and I'll get back to my little girls and my wife, right? Plus, you to my persecutors. You're not breaking me, right? And so I disciplined myself and would allow myself to, and even indulge myself to have ice cream, which you can buy once a week at the prison commissary. And I love ice cream, but I'm not doing it. I was going to be Spartan here, okay? And so I went all those 8 years without ice cream. And as soon as I got home, I had a big banana split.
Yeah.
Maybe not the first night, but not long after. So I would play these mind games with myself and discipline myself a certain way so I just can stay strong and have the sort of eye of the tiger while you're there. But once in a while, yeah, you indulge yourself. You imagine what life could be like if you ever go
So how
home.
many hours a day did you work in the commissary?
I never
I'm
worked
sorry, in the kitchen.
In the kitchen. The first 3 months. You got to do 90 days in there, and then you're free to go get your other job, which was a teacher then. That was great. So it was maybe 7 hours in the morning, you know.
Okay.
And then they got, go ahead.
What was like dinner like? I'm sorry, but I'm like
you're caught up on the. It sucked. Dinner sucked.
It all sucked.
Oh, yeah. I shouldn't talk like that. I'm sorry.
No, talk away anything you want. It's a podcast. You can do what you want.
Okay.
Well, you know, it is interesting. So you're now looking at 14 years.
Yeah.
Okay, year one goes by.
Yeah. Yes.
What changed? What did you learn?
Yeah.
What role did you take on? You became a teacher, so you liked that. And
it was.
At that point, you also you could get a more intimate relationships with the people you're teaching.
Sure.
What were you teaching?
History. I taught the history of the American Civil War, and then I taught World War II history.
And they probably loved it because I
was like Elvis. I was selling out. Everybody wanted to take my class.
Oh, they all wanted to stay.
Oh, yeah. And I would open up the class and I'd say, you know what? I'd say, Lincoln was famous for saying, the house divided against itself cannot stand, with malice toward none, but for charity for all. And Franklin Roosevelt, who they don't know, was famous for saying, there's nothing to fear but fear itself. President Kennedy asked not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country, right? Ronald Reagan, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Obama. So
this is stuff that a lot of these guys didn't know.
They didn't know. Obama changed in hope, right?
Yeah.
And me, this is gold, and I'm not giving it up for nothing.
Right.
I need a second act. Right? I started with that.
Yeah.
And then I would teach them. And, it was really interesting because they would be fascinated when I would tell them stories about Hitler, formerly Schicklgruber.
Bro.
And now he did some time in, house arrest, but it was prison. And Stalin, formerly Zhugashvili, who robbed a bank as a Communist Party activist and did some time in prison. I would tell him about Lincoln and extol his virtues. I would talk about Churchill.
An Illinois guy.
Yeah, and talk about Churchill and his greatness and his toughness and how he stood up to the Nazis, right?
Blood, toil, tears, and sweat.
Exactly right, and never give in, never give in.
They
right?
never heard any of this. I would assume, what was the average grade they went to?
Oh, yeah, and I got a story for you about their GED graduation, but at best, early high school. At best.
But not really going.
Oh, God, no.
And would you say what percentage of home life sucked for those guys? They just sucked. They had no shot starting out.
Correct. 80%.
80%.
Yeah, some of them followed in the family business. Their fathers were drug dealers.
And they were in jail.
Of course.
Did you have fathers and son at the same time?
Yeah, there were a couple of Native American guys, father and son were in there. But I'll tell you what got me through the early time. I had a prison band.
You had
a prison band. They had a music room there. And to get...
Oh, I read this, yes.
Yeah, it was called G-Ron and the Jailhouse Rockers. And we had to audition to perform before the GED graduation. And we had a whole year to do it. And that was tremendously helpful to me because, you go to the music room and... The guy that was sort of the head of our band was a legitimate musician, and sometimes he would perform with the Doobie Brothers, and it's a world of tremendous bullshitters. These guys in prison, especially the white collar guys.
Wait a minute, you performed with the Doobie Brothers?
No, he did.
He performed.
He would sometimes.
So he was really talented.
He was really talented. He wasn't a bullshitter.
What was he in for?
He was a mule. Carting drugs across the Mexican border into America, needed money.
Oh shit!
He was always a law-abiding guy, but he's going through a divorce. And he screwed up. He did. He got
like Alice Marie Johnson, the prison czar. Do you know Alice?
I do. I met her. It was a real honor.
I love her.
She's great.
She's awesome.
She is.
You remember the day that Trump let her out?
Yep.
Why don't you say African American? Or you say black and white? Why? You always say black guy, white guy.
Oh, I say African American.
You do?
Yeah, I never say the N word though.
No.
I say
I just noticed in the interview.
But I never say the N word.
Because is that the way it's described? I'm asking only because is that the way it's described in prison? Like, all right, this is the black guys are over here, the white guys are over here.
The black dudes,
that's it.
The brothers, I used to watch the football games with them on their TV. The higher prison.
I know. I read football is king in football.
Oh yeah.
In prison.
Yeah.
NFL football.
Yeah.
Everyone have their own team.
Yeah.
By the way, what
Yeah.
the hell's wrong with your dopey governor to let the Bears leave Chicago? Is he stupid?
Yeah, they ought to criminalize that and throw his ass in prison. That'd be awful. We love the Bears.
You think he's corrupt?
Corrupt in the sense that he's breaking laws, I don't know. I can't speak to that. I don't have any evidence of that. Corrupt in the sense that he's misusing an opportunity to serve the people of Illinois well when he has the independence with all that $3 billion of money he inherited and didn't earn. And instead he's pandering to the socialist, communist, Bolshevik part of the party because he has higher aspirations.
You think it's an act or he believes it?
He doesn't believe it, of which he can never get to. He's a very mean, angry guy. He used to work for me, Pritzker.
Yeah.
J.B. Pritzker used to work for me. And at the time, back then, he and I worked together to develop a Holocaust museum in Skokie, Illinois. And he seemed competent and capable and sensible. But he got the bug politically. You know, you can analyze that for whatever the reason. But he's a terrible governor.
You think he could ever be president?
No, absolutely not. Look, I know something about politics. I've run in hard elections. I never lost one.
Did you see Obama as a star early? Did you see it?
Yeah.
You did?
I did.
Why?
He's got you can just tell you got a certain something. Look, I think I have it. I never lost an election.
Twice. I wasn't elected shit. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, you were asking me questions about the state budget. I couldn't tell you the first thing. Yeah. Okay, but for whatever reason, I was able to win elections, and I think because I really believe my heart was with the people, and the things we did for people were good, and I pissed off a lot of people because I did it, and I wasn't going to do it their way, and I think that's part of a lot of what happened to me, but if you're asking me, did I see the potential of Obama being president early on? I never saw that. But once he started getting going, I saw a very impressive guy who spoke very well, but a very cold guy and a very selfish guy. And I've gotten to know him a lot better over the years.
Right.
And he'd sell anybody out. And if you compare a tale of two presidents, Donald Trump, self-made billionaire, okay, and Obama, who's been fortunate and lived the American dream and would have never won if he was just the white liberal he really is. You see, he's got the perfect fit for the demographic of the Democratic voter because he's basically, fundamentally, a white limousine liberal whose father came from Kenya. This guy's got no hood in him. He's not, from the South Side or have any real affection for black people.
Community organizer.
That's bullshit. He went to one meeting and they claim it.
Okay. Yeah, Reverend Wright, Sunday after 9/11. Right. GD America.
Right.
Ayers and Dorn.
Right.
Frank Marshall Davis.
Yeah.
Going all the way back, Alinsky, all that shit that he bought into.
Yeah.
And then here's the thing. I understand that, and you can maybe confirm this or not. You were there the day, I guess, that he won, but you were there the day that he announced too, right?
I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I heard Reverend Wright was there,
but
he had to say, I can't let you do the invocation, which I think he was scheduled to do.
Yeah.
By the way, was he friends with Farrakhan? Another Chicago guy.
I don't have firsthand knowledge of that, but if you're asking me how he operates, I'm sure he probably was,
All right. Do you remember?
He and Reverend Jackson didn't get along. Jesse Jackson did not like each other. Yeah.
Well, by the way, and Jesse Jackson Jr. kind of alluded to that when he spoke the day after Obama, which I found interesting because I already knew he didn't like him because I know people that were friends with him. And do you remember Reverend Wright?
I do.
Do you remember him there? Did you remember him being that nuts? And
I was at his church, Reverend Wright's church.
You would go there?
No, I went there one time when I was
Liberation theology. You know what? It's all rooted in Marxism, socialism.
Yeah. I didn't know anything about that, but I went to different black churches campaigning for my reelection. It was his church, but no, I'll say this: Reverend Wright, as I understood it, was actually very good to Obama when he was coming up, and when the heat was on, Obama dumped him.
Yeah.
And ran from him.
Yeah. He had to. I mean, the guy said GD America. I actually sent members of my TV show to the church on a Sunday. They knew they were there.
Yeah.
Welcome to our church, the Hannity Show.
Yeah.
And then I sent them out, and they bought as many tapes of his as they could so we could scour through them and find out what he said.
Yeah.
I remember that part. All right, but back to the prison part, because you kind of describing, you got into a routine, you got out of the kitchen, you're now teaching, you're liking it, you're getting accustomed, but you're looking at 14 years. Do you ever thinking like, shit, I'm going to die in prison?
Yeah.
And how often did you have visitors?
Yeah. Well, let me answer the first question. It really hit me the first Christmas there.
Yeah.
And so I've been there, just about 9 months. And we're coming back from the commissary. It was a gloomy night in Colorado. It started to get cold, and of course the days are getting shorter, and the sky is gray, and it was cold, and they stopped us and they kept us behind certain gates because there had been an inmate who had collapsed on the other side, and he had his commissary bag lying there. And so we're all watching this, and I was with my friend Elliot, and we were talking, and he had been already in prison for 10 years, this guy, the real estate developer.
How long are you in by this point? First Christmas.
7 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, long story short, the guy's not moving, and there's the more police are coming. And I'm telling Elliot, geez, he said, I think he died. I think he had a heart attack and just collapsed.
What?
The guy died. He just fell over and died. The inmate. Yeah. He was a white guy in his 60s, and his bag was there. And then I said to him, well, no, look, they're coming now, and they're it looks like he's going to be okay, and I think I saw something move. And he said he wasn't him moving. They were handcuffing him. They were handcuffing the dead body, his ankles,
Seriously?
yeah, and his hands, because I guess that's policy.
And you thought he might be alive, but
I thought he might be alive. There was hope for this guy, right? And then he was dead. And I felt, of course, terrible. Just I didn't really know the guy that well, but he lived in my housing unit, and I'd see him around. And that's when the realization hit me that, oh, my God, this poor man has a family and children probably, and they're going to learn that their father died in prison. And then for the first time in that 7-month period that I was there, the thought crossed my mind, because I have so long to go, maybe I don't make it out of here. And what a horrible thing if my little girls not only have to suffer the loss of their father under those circumstances, that your daddy went to prison, but how about if their daddy never comes home and he died in prison? I mean, that horrified me. And I remember my heart pounding, feeling that, and mostly, grieving for my kids, because
regardless of everything, the sentence was over the top.
Yeah. Well, there shouldn't have been a second. I know you're a little skeptical, and you're right to be. That's okay. But I'm telling you, I shouldn't have gone for anything.
I'm actually less skeptical now. I'm more skeptical. I want those tapes.
Yes, good. Help me get them.
No, if I can. I mean, I'd love to be able to snap my finger and make it happen. I'm not. Some people think, oh, you can make this happen, that happen. No.
But you did great on Russian collusion. I would watch you from prison. On the white TV. Yeah, I'd watch you. I saw.
How often did you watch TV? You watched the show
I didn't
a lot?
watch a lot of TV at all. I only watched football on Sundays. That's it. I just for myself. And you guys at night in the final 2 years, when there was hope that Trump was going to pull me out and send me home. Yeah. And I would watch that to kind of get gleaned.
How did you get that first glimmer of hope that he might help you?
Well, so I've been in prison for 6.5 years, and my friend Obama, I'm the first governor to endorse him. And when they arrested me, they wanted me to talk about him.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to say that what he wanted to do and what I was talking about doing was criminal. In other words, I was trying to sell a Senate seat, and he was buying it. But it wasn't. It was routine political horse trading, so I wouldn't do it.
They were trying to get you to sell out who?
Obama. They wanted me to say that Obama was trying
Who wanted you to do that?
The FBI agents and the U.S. Attorney that were in my first interview when they had me in custody the first night.
But you don't remember anything incriminating about Obama on your tapes?
No. And look, I don't like Obama. He's not a good guy. Again, back to the tale of two presidents. Trump, I know personally, as a person, is a kind-hearted man. He gets such a bad rep. He cares about people.
People don't know him.
Yeah, he's a kind person. I've seen it several times. Obama is cold, calculating, and selfish.
But Obama's a Chicago guy. Did you appeal to him? Did you send your lawyers to appeal to him? You wrote him? Nothing.
I didn't. Emissaries did. Listen, I'm the only guy.
Okay, and so nothing. Nobody heard a peep out of him.
I was the only inmate out of all 151,000 in the Bureau of Prisons in America who got his quote-unquote paperwork on the desk of two presidents. Obama first, and then Trump. Yeah, David Axelrod took my letters from my
Axelrod did it?
He used to work for me, and then worked for Obama.
You like Axelrod?
Yeah, I do, but I do.
Why couldn't he get it done with Obama?
Obama wouldn't do it because Obama made a deal with the feds. I'll tell you what the deal was. This is my strong belief, okay? Piecing it all together. They arrest me on Tuesday, December the 9th.
Right.
They were trying to get both of us, me and Obama, through Resco. Resco sends a letter to the sentencing judge 4 months before I'm arrested saying, and they put him in solitary confinement for 4 years.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay? They're trying to make me lie about Governor Blagojevich and Senator Obama. I was never involved in any wrongdoing with either one of them. I'm not going to lie to make my sentence easier. Resko was a stand-up guy. I'm not even sure he broke any laws. He was better to Obama. He bought him a lot for $750,000. How do you like that?
Reported on that a lot.
Obama totally sold him out, did nothing to help him. This guy's sitting in solitary confinement. He won't make things up about Obama to make life better for himself. Once Obama's fortunes politically started to rise and it looked like he could be the first black president, there's no way, no matter what crimes they think he may have committed, those Fitzgerald, those people were going to charge him. You can't do that to the first black president. You have riots in the streets. So they needed somebody. They've been invested so long, it was me. Okay? And politically, Axelrod, God bless him, representing his client, they were dumping Resko more on me than Obama. And the Chicago media was happy to do it to protect Obama because the guy got an unbelievably soft press nationally and in Chicago.
Trust me, I was the only one hitting him.
Right.
I was like the lone voice in the wilderness.
Yes,
you know?
exactly. Because it was the idea who this guy is, but he's not the idea. He's not that.
Governor,
yes.
I spent a full year and a half of my life doing a deep dive on Obama.
Yeah.
I can tell you chapter and verse on him.
You should talk to Resko.
I think he's full of shit. I have other issues with him too that I've never talked about. But all right, so that's a terrible thing when you talked about you thinking, oh shit, I may drop dead like this guy.
Yeah,
that sucks. All right, so now the years start going by.
Yeah.
So you get it to Obama. At some point, you realize that was a dead end.
Well, so you hope
they
time.
never.
Manafort talks about hope time. It's hope time. So I would break it down. We're going to win our appeal. None of this is criminal. It's a sure thing. Can't lose. Even though deep down you know you're dead. You just know it. When I was fighting back on TV, best thing I ever did though, because Trump saw me and he liked it. And he invites me on Celebrity Apprentice. Sean, if I don't do Celebrity Apprentice in October 2009 and he doesn't fire me, he doesn't free me because he doesn't know me.
That's true.
All right? This is the hand of God.
He even said, by the way, that he barely knew you.
Yeah.
So you did it. Wait a minute. I'm trying to look at the timeline here. You did it before you went away.
Oh, yeah. Long before the first trial.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was fighting back publicly.
And he actually said when he commuted your sentence, because he commuted you, then he pardoned you in the second term.
That's right.
And he even said, I barely know the guy, but I kind of liked him when he was on The Apprentice.
Right.
And that was it. So that you're right. He invited you to be on the show?
Yeah.
Personally?
Yeah.
He called you up?
Yeah, well, his people reached out.
The people. And then you said yes. And then he fired you. How long did you last?
I think I lasted 4 or 5 episodes. But, it's because I was the project manager and the men were up against the women on Harry Potter. The moms know Harry Potter better than us.
Right.
We had a pretty good project, but he wanted me to call in the rock star Bret Michaels, who ended up winning the whole thing.
Right.
And I didn't want to sell him out. Poison. I thought the guy did a good job, and I didn't want to sell him out. Anyway, so Trump fired me. And even when he fired me, he was good to me. The guy was so good to me. He's been so good to me. He pardoned me. I never asked him for the pardon. After he cut me.
You never asked?
No. Let me tell you about what I felt about Trump and the personal love I have for him as a person. And we don't know each other that well. No. It's been nothing but he's been just giving me and doing kind things for me. And doesn't ask me for anything. I ask him, what can I do for you? Okay.
What do you say?
He's good. He doesn't ask for anything. So I went out and raised money for him. Anytime there's a need for me to talk in the media to be supportive of him, I eagerly do it. I drop everything to do it.
Right.
He wins. I think I did a good job raising money. And all these people are telling me, well, go see him, go ask him for something, have him make an ambassador or something, have him, whatever, cabinet position.
You don't want that. You got everything you wanted.
Let me say,
your life back.
There's no way I'm asking this man for anything except what I can do for him after what he did for me, giving me my life back. But better than that, Sean, he gave my little girls their father back. He gave my daughters their father back. There can be no better gift.
You're inside.
Yeah.
He's president.
Yep.
Okay. This is towards the end of his first term.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Before COVID.
Who was did you have a lawyer? Did you have a friend that, hey, can you look at Rod Blagojevich?
Yeah, right.
Do you know
a lot of people, including this guy named Mark Vargas, who came out of nowhere in 2000.
He championed your case.
He did. He handled everything. Worked with my wife, Patty. Was able to get her on Fox News. Some of your colleagues had Patty on. Laura Ingraham had him on. Tucker was there. Then he had Laura Ingraham had Patty on. Judge Janine had Patty on. Trump would watch Patty on TV. But before that, tell you about him. When I got home, I learned, I didn't know this. He was evidently watching me walk into prison on live television.
He was what?
He was watching me walk into prison on live TV. And he tweets that day. On the 15th of March, 2012, condemning what they were doing to me, and murders and rapists get 4 years average, and this guy's going to prison for all of that time. Do you think this is justice? I don't. Something like that.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know that when I was walking in. I learned that when I came home. But never in my wildest dreams when I'm doing his television show, and he's good to me off camera and good to me on camera, and he fires me in a nice way.
Yeah.
Do I think he's ever going to be president? Plus,
Right.
I still think if I get the law...
He didn't think he was going to be. He might have said it, but he didn't think it.
I don't think
I remember
that.
when he started getting serious about it.
Yeah.
All right, so now it's getting towards the end of his first term.
Yeah.
So you have people, hey, will you look at this?
Yep.
And, you know, what turned it? What made him say, look at it and say, yeah, that's bullshit. 15 years, 8 years is plenty.
Yeah.
What made him switch?
A lot of things, but look, he tweets about me when I walked in, and then Obama passes me by, and we asked Obama, just cut my sentence in half from 14 to 7.
Yeah.
I was in for 6.5. Axelrod gave letters from my daughters to him personally.
He didn't give a shit.
Didn't give a shit. And my daughter is the same age as his beautiful
You
daughter.
really believe Axelrod gave it to him?
I do. I do.
And you believe he read them and just said...
I don't know about him reading them, but I believe Axelrod gave them to him. So he passes me by, won't cut the sentence in half. Obama leave Washington as a hero. I'll limp out of prison 10 months later when my sentence is up. He didn't do it, okay? Because he made a deal with them, and the deal was, after they arrested me, he'll keep them in office, because they should have been Democratic U.S. attorneys. These were Bush-appointed U.S. attorneys.
Right.
He kept them in until they got me. And if they do that,
Right.
and they get me, then the deal was Obama does nothing to help me. And they protect Obama. That's what happened.
That's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, and that's why he did and passed me by in January 2017, 1 month into Trump's presidency. Think about this. The hand of God again, and Trump is his instrument. It gives me hope, okay? Now you're another staggering disappointment because you can't get justice in the courts. The Supreme Court was going to take the case. It sure looked good, but they only take 2% of the cases. They take it. We're sure winners. They turned me down. I would always learn this on the news. I get this bad news because inmates would see it on the news.
That sucks.
Right? And then Obama's no. Now suddenly, 1 month into it, I get called into the case manager's office, and the White House is looking for my records because you can't think about commuting anybody's sentence unless you know whether or not the guy's been a good inmate, well behaved. And it was Trump. Sent them right away. Was looking to find a way to help me. And then this young guy, Vargas, comes in, and 1 year later, you know, I never met the guy, works with my wife, Patty, and he would communicate with me on the Corlinks email system. We wrote an op-ed. He collaborated for the Wall Street Journal. It was a cautionary tale. This was the spring of 2018. To everybody running for re-election, don't do fundraising because they'll throw you in jail like they did me.
Right.
This was on a Tuesday or Wednesday, Wall Street Journal. Trump sees it and then floats me and Martha Stewart. He's going to pardon Martha Stewart and commute my sentence. And he's got to be smart about this because he's doing this for a Democrat governor, and he's going to piss off his own base, particularly in my state of Illinois, where it's a good political issue for the Republicans to have corrupt Democrats,
right.
Even though I didn't break a law, cross the line, or take a penny. So then he's got Russian collusion hitting him. So it's got to slow him down.
So he's distracted.
He's distracted, right.
By the way, that was 3 years of his
That's when I
presidency.
started watching you and your Fox News on the white TV at night when they allow you to watch television from 10 to midnight.
I can't believe you call it the white TV
That's
and the
what
black
they called
TV. I was just like,
the black TV didn't have
That's like
you on.
another world. I don't know.
Yeah, they watch CNN.
What the hell? I'm gonna convert them over to Fox.
Right.
We'll just go in the prison and say, now, guys, I want people of all races to watch one TV. I'm on at 9. No, I'm at 8 Central, wherever you are. All right, if it feels like everybody's sick right now, guess what? You are not imagining it. Now, doctors say this is the worst cold and flu season in 25 years, and it's not even over. Now, I just went out to dinner with friends, and it was like everyone coughing, sneezing, sick, or they'd just been sick. They're just getting over being sick. I can't afford to get sick. I doubt you can either. Now, you see this here? This is why I ordered the emergency medical kit, and many of my colleagues have it too. You've seen Dr. Drew, Dr. McCullough. They have this kit on their show. It's called the Wellness Company Medical Emergency Kit. Every home should have one. Having a medical emergency kit, that's like having an urgent care pharmacy right in your home. Look at this. Look at that. Includes essential prescriptions, generic Z-Pak to help you get well faster, plus very important antibiotics. And for example, for pneumonia, strep throat, sinus infection, nausea, UTIs, many more common and serious illnesses. Now, it's all in the kit. The moment you need it, no waiting for your doctor, no hoping your pharmacy is open, no hours at urgent care. That's the worst thing to do in life. No lines at the pharmacy, no copays. Just match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook, or just call the telemedicine doctor standing by. Now start on your meds and feel better faster. It's genius. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours now online. They'll ship it to your house. Now, I can save you $45 when you use the promo code Hannity. Go to urgentcarekit.com. One word, urgentcarekit.com. Again, save $45, promo code Hannity, urgentcarekit.com, and you will be healthier and prepared. So let's get to the commutation, because that's pretty cool. All right. Were you aware you had a really good shot?
Yeah.
You were. Who told you?
Trump called my wife, Patty, on July the 9th, 2019. These days you remember always.
All right, so wait, he called your wife how many days before he did it?
Well, things happened. It would be 7 months before he did it. But he called her on July the 9th.
And said?
I'm going to commute your husband's sentence. I'm going to send him home. He's going to get to see his little girls. You know, it's terrible that, you know, he only sees, your daughters only see their father in an orange jumpsuit. I mean, I never wore an orange jumpsuit, but he's got it.
Why didn't he do it then? Do you know?
Yeah, because he'd been trying to do it, and he felt like he was in a political place to do it. The Russian collusion thing was
distracting
being exposed by guys like you as bullshit.
Yeah.
So he wasn't in as vulnerable a position as he was before.
Yeah.
So he had the ability at that time to do it, and he was immediately going to do it. What a great guy Trump is.
So your wife calls you.
He calls her
to visit you.
She's on her way to see Jesse Jackson.
Wow.
Because Reverend Jackson's helping me. Reverend Jackson and I, in 1999, go and get our soldiers home, right? Free them from captivity. Bombs are falling. And who'd have thought all those years later, Jackson...
He did care about all that stuff.
Yeah.
He did.
And I'm now a captive. He's trying to help me. And so he's working with Patty and communicate with President Trump. And she's on her way to go to Rainbow Push to see Reverend Jackson. She gets a phone call driving down by McCormick Place in Chicago. She told me all about this. It's the White House operator calling, would you please hold for President Trump? So she had to pull over. Of course, she can't. Yes. And he spent like 9 to 10 minutes talking to her, by asking about our daughters, taking a real interest, because he had met them one time when they were tiny, were younger. At the last episode of Celebrity Apprentice, he was so good to them. He was so kind to them.
People, the guy that I've known for 30 years, I wish people knew that guy that I know.
I know that. He's a great guy. You got to know that, what you're saying. Yes.
He's generous to a fault.
Yep.
Funny. He's funny as shit.
Right.
He's the funniest freaking guy I've ever, when he's on a roll.
Yeah.
There's no better storyteller, no more fun guy to hang out with. Yeah. Some of the phone calls we've had over the years are more fun than I can ever describe. And I don't talk about it because it's nobody's business. This guy also has had more knives, shivs in his back, and knives in his neck. Yep. I mean, I'm so sick and tired of those people, and they're people that use them. He's very generous to a fault. Like, you want to use my club? You want to use it? I'm like, no, I don't want anything. I'm like you. I don't want anything.
Right.
I just save the country, save the world. Not much to ask, right?
Right.
That's a lot.
Be sure I tell you about that call when he called me on my part, and I got to tell you about that call.
I want to know. Well, first tell me about so 7 months you have hope. Were you beginning to worry?
Okay.
Because it gets to 2020 at that point.
Well, so here's what happened. So Patty, it's going to happen, and she sends me a little, an email calling me because
Would she come once a week to visit? We never got.
No, they would come. They would come. The first year they came 3 times, and the first 3 years.
That's it.
It's awfully hard to do it. The little girls are in school, and we're a long way away. Yeah. And here's the thing: you got to,
because you had to go. You were in Colorado.
Yeah, and I was in the higher prison where you have to get strip search in and out.
That was for the first 2 years.
2.5 years.
Then where did you get transferred to?
The camp right next door.
Okay, so you were out there the whole time. That sucks. And was camp much better?
Oh, look, when you
still don't have your freedom.
You don't have your freedom, but worse than that, you're not with your family. To me, that's
you're still in prison.
Correct, but there's no fences, and it's a lot easier.
You're living in like a dormitory style.
Kind of like a.
Was the food any better?
No. It was the same food made by the same guys. No, God.
The same shit.
Yeah, but it's okay because you can lose weight there and you know.
I don't want to eat this crap.
Right. It's all right.
What did you miss the most? What was your food?
I miss my children and my wife. What food did I miss?
Yeah, food.
Oh,
I know you
like,
miss your children. And wife.
Yeah. Well, of course, ice cream, and cause even though I chose not to eat the ice cream, that was my thing. But no, any number of restaurants in Chicago and places I would eat, you know, like the neighborhood pizza place or, you know, a good hamburger.
I love Chicago hot dogs.
Me too. Those two, love them.
Love them.
Right.
And I can't go to Chicago and not have it. Oh, way over. And I never thought I'd like deep dish because I don't eat bread at all anymore.
Oh.
So I eat eggs and meat. Boom.
Okay.
I'm done.
Yeah. Protein. Protein. Yeah.
And, all right. So let's get to when you are told you're out, you're done, you're commuted. When is that?
Well, in between that, he makes a phone call, Trump does, to Zelensky.
To who?
The Ukrainian president, Zelensky. I would watch your show on that white TV, and you're showing Joe Biden on video, talking about bragging, about, you got till midnight, $1 billion in tax dollars, right?
Quid pro quo, Joe.
If you don't stop
you were watching during those years.
Yes, I was. If you don't stop investigating my son's business, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, I'm in prison. I didn't do anything remotely
Zero
like that.
experience hunter, getting paid millions. He goes on Stephanopoulos. Any experience in oil? No. Energy? No. Gas? No.
Right.
Okay. You're being paid how much?
Right.
7 figures?
Right.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
I'm watching it.
Yes. I bet it's pissing you off.
Yeah, I'm startled that, you know, that I'm sitting where I'm sitting and Biden's doing that. I never did any remotely like that. I said, this is gold and I'm not giving it up for nothing.
Yeah.
That's it. Anyway. So then he calls Zelensky because the president of the United States should look into the possibility of some sort of corrupt bribery deal, no matter who it is.
You're not getting the $1 billion.
Right.
Unless you fire the prosecutor.
Right. Probable cause. I'm a former prosecutor. That's probable cause. It would be derelict of Trump's duty as the president to not explore it. Okay?
I don't know what's going on with it.
He called Zelensky.
Yeah.
On the 26th of June. I know all these dates.
No, he was there. He went to Ukraine.
Okay.
He had the $1 billion. You're not getting the $1 billion. I got 7 hours.
No, Biden did. I know
Biden did that, yeah.
But Trump called Zelensky on the 26th of June, makes that infamous, not infamous, but that phone call that was appropriate and necessary. He was doing his duty.
Oh, the one he got impeached for.
That's what I'm talking
about. That was complete bullshit.
That's what I'm talking about.
Total bullshit.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then you're comparing the two. I thought we're conflating them. All right.
No, what I'm saying is that slowed me down. He was going to send me home. And then that happens. Now, I know politics. I know the Democrats. It's my party, although I don't recognize these. So
now he's wrapped up in out of
They're going to impeach him for this legitimate phone call.
Yep.
They're going to impeach him. And I know how you can criminalize non-crimes. I know what's coming. So I'm probably not going home so soon. That's what I think. And yet still, God bless him, Trump's trying to get me home in August.
Yeah.
So much so that Jared Kushner calls Patty on a Friday, like August 3rd or something, to say 90-something% chance he's coming home on Monday.
Wow. Okay?
So I'm feeling good on that Monday night. I don't tell anybody that. There's a shooting in, I think it was Akron, Ohio or somewhere.
Yeah.
And then the next day, El Paso. So I wake up to those shootings. I'm thinking, probably can't do it Monday. So Wednesday, I go to bed to sleep. Thursday, cops come into my room. I'm in the camp now, shine lights in my eyes at 5:30 in the morning. And they're saying, get your stuff, get your property, they call it, in prison.
Shit.
You're going home. I said, what happened? Trump pardoned you. They got that wrong. It was going to be a clemency.
Right.
He was sending me home.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going out. No one has seen anything like this in prisons.
Everyone wake up?
It was a big crowd gathered to watch the exit. You know, and I had low approval ratings after I was arrested, in Illinois.
Right.
But in prison with my homies in there, I had pretty high approval ratings. A lot of these guys were my friends. They're ushering me out. They're keeping extra cops are there.
They were happy
lines.
for you.
Yes. Helping me carry my books. Just about everybody. Not everybody likes you, but almost everybody. I watched football games with them. We worked out together. They were
all this stuff that you read in prison. So was the fighting that bad?
Yeah, there were some of them were bad. Sure.
What about rape?
I never saw that. I
heard about it.
Yeah, I heard some stories.
You see people that look like they got the shit kicked out of them.
Oh yeah,
every day.
Not every day.
A lot.
Not infrequent. Not infrequent. There was one guy just totally sliced up another guy with a shiv. They make those weapons.
They would have those weapons.
Oh yeah, and they both. It was terrible. I saw.
You get a lot of shakedowns where they would check your shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when there'd be fights, they'd make.
All right, go back to the happy moment. You get out. 5 o'clock in the morning, they shine a light on you. Wake up.
It didn't happen like that. It was so I had calculated in my mind that They'll impeach him, and the Democrats will impeach him in December.
Right.
He'll get acquitted in late January. Then the window opens again where he can politically
That's when it happened.
maybe do it. Correct. It was on the 18th of February, 2020. And so now there's unbelievable hope time every single day. My friend Mike Vargas, who's been working closely with Patty's, working with guys, different people to try to like nudge it along and all the rest. And so Vargas had sent me a message through Patty that he had a conversation with some people on like the Thursday before that weekend, my final weekend, that there was a possibility President Trump might do something. So Tuesday morning, I wake up the 18th of February, not knowing if that was going to happen or anything, but,
Hopeful.
hope time, having real hope time. And I'm about, my plan is that day was a run day. I was going to go run, prison track. Some days I'd lift weights. Other days I'd be doing push-ups, chin-ups, and run the track. You can work out there a lot. That's one good thing. I'm going to run that day. And then at 10 to 11 Mountain Time, one of my colleagues, comes out to me, Gov, I just saw it on TV. Trump pardoned you. They confused that. It was going to be a clemency, right? But they call it pardons.
I thought it was officially a commutation.
It was a commutation, but they don't get it. And they saw it he saw it on the. I'd had false starts before on what was hopeful
so
news.
You were a little hesitant.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to put your hands on another inmate, but some of these guys were friends. So I grabbed the one on the side where the police weren't there, and I said, now, come on, tell me, Spade. Tell me exactly what you saw, what you heard. What did they say? They said
what did he say?
Commutation. Exactly, right?
Right.
Oh, I don't know, Gov. I think it was pardon. It wasn't pardon. I don't know. Or commutation. I don't know. Are you telling me you didn't hear anything then? No, Gov. I think you're going home. I think you're going home, but I couldn't believe it. Okay. The time goes by, it's quick. It's like 8-9 minutes. I go to the white TV. Yeah. I look, and there's Trump at Fox News, live TV, Andrews Air Force Base. There's Trump. I walk in. I tap the shoulder of one of the colleagues, one of those white guys, meth dealers. Hey, man, I think that's about me. Is it? Yeah. Gov, you're going home. Bro, you're going home. And that's when he did it. And that's when I knew for sure it was going to happen. You
got home in record time. You went right home.
It took about 6 hours for all the paperwork and all the rest. And then for me to actually get home. And I was going to, instead of running that day, media helicopters were there. So I just hit
Why don't you just jump on and get a ride from one of the media people?
And they were waiting and all the rest. But no, it was unbelievable. And
what was it like when you go home?
It was late at night when I got home, and the next day we had a press event in front of the house, which was very important for me to express my gratitude to President Trump there, and that's when I coined the phrase. Somebody asked, you going to vote for him? And I said something like, yeah, I'm a Trumpocrat, right?
I remember that.
I call that my new political party. I'm a Trumpocrat. But I was able to express my gratitude to President Trump openly to everybody, and it was fantastic. There was one thing that was interesting, though, Sean, that I didn't expect and anticipate. And in those moments when I would indulge myself once in a while and allow myself to imagine what it might be home if I ever did get home. And you have to remember, if President Trump didn't do what he did for me after 2,896 days, 1 month short of 8 years, I'd have done at best another 4 years, assuming good behavior, which I had.
Yeah.
But let's say somebody wanted to say I wasn't well behaved, it would have been another 6. That's what I was looking at. Now I'm home, and I would imagine, we'll be one happy family again. My wife, who defied the odds, not just the Vegas odds makers, but if an inmate's in prison more than 4 years, in better than 92% of the cases, statistical fact, she leaves. The wife, the girlfriend, whatever the case may be, especially when he's got a lot more time to do, which I had.
Yeah.
So Patty has been heroic. She's the best person I've ever known. It's been a gracious thing to walk through life together. She raised our daughters beautifully all by herself. They're great kids.
How were they when you got home?
They were fantastic, but that's the story I want to tell you about. So I do this big press event, and they dutifully come out because they prefer none of that. Okay, they don't want the cameras around the house anymore. None of that. But this is necessary that I have to do this. And so I get done with it. I get back in the house, and I have some more media things to do. But before that, I take a little break and go back to the television room, my family room, where we watch the Super Bowl.
What do you call that? The family television? It's not the white television, the black television. No. Now we got the family television.
Just the family television,
okay.
Yeah. And any race can watch it if they're in our house. And there they are. My daughter Amy, who at the time, she was 15 when I left, she was now 22. And little Annie Benani, our younger one, who was 8. And now she's 16, about to be 17. and the older one's taller than the little one, and she's embracing her sister, and the two of them are crying their eyes out. And I walk in and I say, what are you guys crying about? Aren't you happy that I'm home? And they were, but they were suffering, and they do suffer from PTSD. All that media stuff brought them all back to the horrors of what they had experienced as children, with their father, the governor, being arrested from the home, and all that media stuff. And I never anticipated that. And so the adjustment of actually being home and being the only man in the house, even the dogs are girls, right? Patty, Amy, Annie, and little Skittles and Twixie. And then I'm there, and my younger one in particular, she was so little when I left, I was almost like a stranger. And so it took some time for them to get comfortable with me. It wasn't hard, right? But it was an adjustment.
8 years is a long time.
Long time.
You know?
Yeah.
Then how did the full-on pardon come out when he got back in office?
Yeah. Well,
you stayed, to be fair, there's an in-between story.
Yeah.
As you guys stayed in touch. I know you've been down here.
Yeah. Yes. Several times.
Number of times.
Yep.
You've had dinner with him.
No, I haven't had dinner with President Trump, but I've been at Mar-a-Lago.
You were at Mar-a-Lago?
And I've seen him at Mar-a-Lago and talked to him a little bit here and there. I raised a bunch of money for him for his campaign. And I do media stuff to defend him, which is the easiest thing for me to do. And when the Democrats were weaponizing the law against him, I was the perfect guy because I lived.
It is funny because I came here actually expecting a very different interview. I was curious because the quotes are so damning that I read to you. I'm just like, okay, he probably went to prison. It's probably a wake-up call. You probably had a spiritual awakening. You probably found Jesus, and really mean it. I mean, I really believe that in the dark night of your soul, bright flows the river. You got to read the book. It's a novel by Taylor Caldwell. She's a great writer with a lot of Christian undertones. I'm
going to do it.
And then I wondered if maybe you reflected on some of the comments. You're telling me it's bullshit. You need to hear it in context, and you're going to hear it differently.
Right.
But you're also saying one other thing, and that is, okay, that's the way the system works. For example, you don't want to watch how they make sausage. You don't want to watch how Washington makes legislation. You don't want to watch, especially Chicago or Illinois politics. It just reads like shit.
Right.
And I wondered if maybe... Is there any party that said, what the hell was I talking like that for?
Yeah.
I mean, I assume if you went back, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
And you knew the FBI is listening to you.
That's
what the crazy part.
That was totally stupid and naive and irresponsible to think that they'd listen to these conversations.
Weren't your lawyers warning you?
No, they were on the calls. By the way, I would ask my lawyer, the governor's lawyer, 3 times a day on those FBI tapes, can I do this? Yeah. Can I make a deal like this? They even used evidence of this conversation to convict me of this. Are you ready for this? Hey, how do you do a deal? I say this. How do you do a deal like this? I mean, it's got to be legal, obviously. And then they play that tape. I think this is a sure acquittal. I got convicted of that too. How? Because they custom tailored the jury instructions because the judge was in on it with the prosecutors because he had to protect them because someone's going down here. Either those corrupt prosecutors who framed an innocent man and hijacked a governor twice elected by the people, or me. And they didn't get me at the first trial. They got to get me at all costs at the second trial. So they used fake law to convict me of legal things. Ugly conversations, sure. But that's not a felony.
See,
you can say, it's not a felony, is it?
Nope.
I want to make a deal. If it's a political deal, that's not a felony. It's legal. And then they characterize things and they lie. And it's like they go to Madison Avenue, Russian collusion. They give them these sexy names, sale of the Senate seat, shaking down a hospital. That children's hospital thing drives me crazy. My beloved cousin was 12 years old. He died in that hospital when I was 10, of leukemia. I was the congressman there. I was the governor there. Whatever they asked for, I gave them that stuff. And I gave them that money. My brother went and asked.
$8 million. But they quote you as saying you wanted 50 grand.
That's not true. There's no such evidence.
I'm asking, I don't know.
No, there's no evidence. The evidence was, can we raise money from them? The guy had, at that hospital, he was the head of the Illinois Hospital Association, raised money for me before, and at that very time was raising money for the Democratic State Senate president. He would raise money. And we asked, my brother politely asked for a fundraiser. The guy said, I'll get back to you. They criminalized that.
All right. It's an amazing life story. You know what I think is the greatest thing for you? For a lot of people, when they go through trauma, I'm telling you right now, I've talked to enough people that have been to prison. I don't want to go. No, thank you.
Right.
Losing your freedom, not cool. But I will tell you that some people, you have to have intestinal fortitude. You have to be stronger, because you haven't changed. You have come out of it. Sure, you were broken. Sure, you had anxiety for a long time. Sure, it was a culture shock. Sure, but it didn't break you. That to me is a win.
It's a big win.
Because I bet you met many a guy there that did get broken.
Yes. Listen, Sean, I told you, I believe I'm strong, and I believe I have, testicular virility. That's what I call it, right?
Yeah.
Trump said you got a lot of guts when he fired me. I think I have those things. And I'm defiant. I would rather die than give into those. Okay? I'm sorry to swear like that. But I wasn't strong enough to get through there, all of that without God. It was God. It was faith, hope, and love.
How close were you to God before you went in?
I
asked about your upbringing,
correct.
But really, how much did it matter? Like, I will tell you that my life doesn't happen without God.
Yeah.
I view my life as an undeserved life.
I'm so here. I believe everything you're telling me because I'm living it myself. The same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the great success you've had from where you came from and the odds of that, right?
Zero.
Someone's looking out for
My mom
you.
was a prison guard.
Yeah.
And I think she thought I would end up on the other side of the prison.
I heard you say that on that white TV when I was watching you from prison. I heard you tell that story.
It's true.
Sure.
Let me ask you
but it was
one
God,
question.
and of course, all the stories were great. And the Psalms are so important to me. And David, and he was been.
You stay in touch with these prisoners?
Yeah, a lot of them. Sure, of course. Talked to one yesterday.
Do they ask for stuff?
Sure, I try to help them if I can.
You try and help them.
Yeah, and the best I can do is do criminal justice reform. But just one last thing about the Bible. I am so grateful. Not because I went there for 8 years, but if the price is that you can have this kind of warm, close feeling towards God and this trust in Him and His ways and what He wants from us and have a better understanding of what it is that He wants from us, and you have to do 8 years in prison, it's a gift. It's a gift. If 8 years in prison draws you closer to God, you're blessed. And then I think about Jesus at the Garden of Gethsemane on that Thursday night, and He knows what He's going to face that fateful weekend. He knows everything that's coming His way, and that human part of Him gets scared. And He prays, "Oh, Father, lift this cup from me." But then His love for His Father, the love, "Oh, no, Thy will, not my will, Thy will." And He goes through all of that. And then that miracle happens on Sunday. I feel so grateful.
Have you watched The Chosen?
Yeah.
Series?
Yeah.
Have you watched it all?
Yeah.
I've watched it like 5 times.
Oh, have you? Yeah.
Yeah. I just keep going back because I get more out of it every time I watch it. Just like The Passion, I will go back and watch that once or twice a year.
Mel Gibson's movie.
You know what else I've been watching? Yeah. There is the Bible, the Old Testament, and then the Roma Downey and
Mark Burnett. He did Celebrity Apprentice.
They did Celebrity Apprentice. They did AD.
Yep.
And it's on Fox Nation, by the way. You can watch it there.
I will.
That is a pretty profound statement that, if you go to prison and you get closer to God, it's worth it. That's a pretty big statement.
Well, isn't it, though? Ask yourself that.
Whatever it takes to break a person, yeah.
We're right about God.
Was your ego out of control?
No. Was I? Oh, hold on.
I'm asking.
No, not out of control. Was I a narcissist?
Were you arrogant?
People seem to think I had some of that. I don't think I was.
I
wasn't as humble as I should have been.
Okay, so the word repentance means to change your heart from Latin. I went to seminary. Okay, how's your heart changed? Well, how did this bring you closer to God? Just that you were on your knees broken?
I was never that. I was never that.
Because I had moments in my life just down.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that's what I was. In maybe, all I can tell you, Sean, is there's no way I'm making it through those 8 years or have hope or can constructively do anything effective. I didn't put my faith in something higher. It's why my faith got stronger, because I did think those were the best and the brightest. They went to the best schools. These are honest people. They're corruptible. Human nature is corruptible. Don't believe in man. Believe in God. Of course there's good and evil.
Did you talk about that a lot? Were you part of a Bible study?
I would sometimes talk to some of the guys who read the Bible who I felt like were not jailhouse Jesuses. There's a lot of that. You know what I mean?
Okay,
a lot of phony guys.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But you had your Bible.
Every day I read it.
Most important.
I wake up every morning. First thing I did is read it. I needed it.
How much did you read a day?
Sometimes hours. I'd have moments, and this might sound like bullshit, but I'd have moments. And maybe it's a little bit of the runner's high you get when you've run 8 miles or something and you feel good afterwards. I don't recommend prison for anybody who's not guilty of anything. But if you got to be in one, Colorado, I mean, there's 300 sunny days a year, and the sunshine matters when you're in a gloomy place like that. And then you feel the effects when it rains. I didn't realize that till I lived it. And they have these beautiful rainbows there. And so I would have these moments a couple of times when I finish running and I'm feeling good after the run, I'm sweating. And I've been there now for years. And that deep pain that I felt for the first 2 years has been blunted by the passage of time. And the fact that, you're getting closer and closer to someday maybe going home, right? And you've been here now for 6 years, 7 years, right? But I had a couple of moments that were, I think an angel came down and gave me the moment, because I would feel so good. And then it had rained earlier in the day and the pretty blue sky. Now it was coming back out and these beautiful rainbows. And I'd walk on the track, cooling down after a run, and walk kind of towards that beautiful rainbow. And this has to be God. It was just magical. And I was feeling so comfortable and at peace. And I would have this crazy thought. Are you ready? I think this is good that I've been here. I think this is good that I've been here. And I think that
so people know, good that I've been here in prison.
In prison. That's what I mean. In prison. This has been good. And I will be better when I come home for no other reason than I could touch my children, my little girls, with what I've experienced and what I've learned. And more than whatever I teach them or tell them, they'll know that their dad lived it. Because the best teacher is the example of your parents, what they do. And in that sense, I felt blessed and almost grateful.
Kids ask you to tell your stories?
The younger one's better at that than the older one. But yeah, sure. Oh, you mean prison stories? No, they don't want to hear any of it.
They don't want to hear any of it.
Even my wife, she doesn't want to hear them.
Do you talk about religion with your kids?
Yeah.
And?
Yeah. I'm making progress. The little one's better at this. That she's a lot more. They both believe in God. But
everyone's got to be on their own journey.
Correct. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to force it on them, so I chase them away.
It's funny. Mark Wahlberg had a good line. He was on, I think it was on Fox and Friends, and he said, "I don't force." He goes to church every day, mass every day. I was raised Catholic, but I'm non-denominational, and he said he never forces his kids. They got to want to do it on their own. Then you got. How did all of a sudden you got the full pardon? When did that come out of nowhere, or did you expect it? Came out of nowhere.
Oh, no, I didn't expect it at all, no.
You woke up and read on the news?
No.
You didn't apply for it?
I didn't apply for it, no. I saw President Trump after the election at Mar-a-Lago, congratulated him on winning. And I think he said something, that, thank me for the help or whatever, something like that. He was with Elon Musk. And you've been there, that whole beautiful scene that's magical there,
I don't go a lot, but I've been there.
Yes. Saturday night, I saw you one time there.
Yeah. I remember. That's why you're here.
Yeah. Oh, is that right? So anyway, so that was December. Susie Wiles was there. And, look, I know what at a smaller level, being governor, once you win, everybody who helped you, or even those who didn't help you but say they helped you, they want something. So they start lining up. She's a great chief of staff, protects him.
By the way, they just recently announced, we're praying for her, she has early detection breast cancer. And she is the best political operative, the smartest mind, best chief of staff, amazing woman. And she's going to keep working while she's going through treatment with the full support of the president. But
God bless.
She's a special woman.
Yeah. And she's a tremendous asset to him, as you say, and also protecting him from the supplicants.
Big time. She was there those 4 years that were rough.
Yeah.
And I stayed with him. But anyway, you were there? What happened?
Yeah, so she's there. So she looks a little skeptically at me and others, like, what does this guy want? They know I helped. Now they think I'm going to ask for something, but there's no way.
You didn't ask for a thing?
Nothing. And I saw him, when I ask is, what else can I do? What can I do for you? Let me know. I want to be more helpful. Anyway, so that was it. And then he's president. I was at the inauguration. And then I was home on the following weekend, the 25th of January, 5 days into his presidency, President Trump. I think he was in very good spirits on that Saturday night at Mar-a-Lago. And he's sitting there, and my daughter Annie Benandi's at school, University of Chicago. My daughter Amy's with her boyfriend. They live, in the Lincoln Park area, Chicago, nice. And my wife and I are watching an old black and white movie together. 8:37.
There you go, the black TV, the white TV.
There we go. It's black and white. It was His Girl Friday with Rosalind Russell, Cary Grant. And the phone rings, and I generally don't answer the phone on a Saturday night. You can see on these iPhones who's calling. Sergio Gore, a guy you know.
Right.
Who was and I'd worked with him on the fundraising. And so I answered the phone because Sergio, and I said, hey, Sergio, congratulations on your new spot. Because Trump had appointed him the head of personnel, director of personnel. And he said, hi, Gov, hold on. Even they're calling me Gov, just like the inmates. Sergio calls me.
That's funny.
Hold on, an old friend's on the phone.
Sergio Gore, who's now the ambassador to India.
Correct.
Yeah.
He says, an old friend wants to say hello. So he hands the phone, and President Trump's on the phone. And you talk about how funny he is. He starts talking. He goes, yeah, something along the lines of, terrible what they did to you, I'm going to clean it all up for you. I'm going to clean it all up for you. You'll be cleaner than me. I still have 34 counts.
That's him.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
And then he asked me about my wife, Patty, again. Every time he talks to me, and I've probably a dozen times since I've come home, he asks, how's your wife? Are you still with her? He always asks me that. I'd see her on TV. She was great. She stood up for you.
The odds were 9-1 against you.
Right, exactly. He marvels at that. So he asked me on that call. And I said, I'm madly in love. And then he asked me if I'd be interested in running for office someday. And I said, look, I'm like you, competitive. You feel like you got cheated out of the last fight. You want to get back in the ring. So there's that part of me. I have family considerations. My family, it's been a hard thing. And he said, well, what party would you run for? And I said, I'd run as a Trumpocrat. And he said something like, hey, look, whatever you run for, whatever party, I'll back you.
Yeah.
And I was, whatever I could say to him was just to continue to express my profound gratitude for everything he did. And most of all, again, Sean, thank you, Mr. President, for giving my little girls their father back. That's what I told him.
And then all of a sudden he hits you with the
full pardon. He told me. Oh, he was telling me he's going to do that.
He told you on the phone.
That was the call. He was going to clean it all up for me. He was going to clean it all up for me.
I was going to ask you about a bunch of other stuff, but this is too good a point to go any further. Because I hope there's a lot of good life lessons people can take out of this, and that's kind of the purpose of this podcast. I love to do it.
Yeah.
And everybody I'm learning, Gov, has a story to tell, and you learn about people and how they deal with adversity and tough times and. I don't think I would have ever expected this interview was going to start and end with, it's one of the greatest things God ever did for me. Sent me to prison, because.
Did I say that?
Kind of.
No, I have those moments where I feel that way. No, thank you.
Coming in. Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode, hanging out with me, Sean Hannity. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel so you never, ever, ever, ever miss an episode. We've got a lot more really great content coming your way. We hope you'll subscribe.